You do. Well, if Ricky shows up, I'll be coming back through there. Do you want me to get yours?
And if you can't make it, I'll go for you.
Okay. Well, I don't know yet whether he's gonna be here or not. He hadn't said yay or nay yet.
I bet he is. Did you want to go to Gail DeMontie's for a chicken fried steak tomorrow night since it's your birthday, or are you gonna eat with him? Okay. I'll text you.
He's giving me the time of I don't know what Ricky is gonna do.
I'll text him.
I'll take your
If
chicken fried steak.
If they show up, they're gonna expect you to eat them, so.
Yeah.
I said, if they show up, they're gonna expect you to eat them. So,
The majority of the board has to,
Probably
the
won't be
deputy
here
roll call
tomorrow
has to approve your amendment to the agenda. And then you can do it.
Everyone.
hey, how are you?
Good.
Are you feeling better?
Much better.
Good.
I feel like I got some blood flowing through my body. That's good feeling.
No, she was probably.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You look bright and shiny.
You know. Trying, right? No little lady here, I guess.
Like, I guess it looks big. I can get it. Hello.
She told me she was this morning.
No, I'm sure there is. I don't
Close to it, Tryon.
Just need to get information.
Well, that's. But.
And he has a different job than
Richard, Sandy, and then Jones, Nathan Jones.
I kept saying, make things smooth.
I am, I'm still in the 6th grade. Yeah. This year should be the last of that, it was the last of our COVID kids. Oh, yeah. And hopefully it'll start going uphill from here. Especially our son is. There's the participation trophy.
So I have it turned off now.
They got records for everything. They were nice. For me, next Monday. saw on the news. I'm glad it's not us. Well, they stretched those 4 more days to the school day. So, yeah. And where's she teaching? Oh, nice. Nice. Yeah. Well, she won't have the public school craziness. Hello. How are you? Have to represent.
Oh, that's what we stand. There's not much cushion there.
You want a pillow? I know where one is. I had to go get that one. Sitting on the hard chair for too long.
Well, this is that,
Oh, where's the wells? Still 5 still.
Oh, I'll take one that's really going
Right
on.
there, like mine.
Look at it,
You want an agenda?
Do you?
I don't know what's going on.
You got one, huh?
I have brain freeze.
I hope not.
Yeah.
I know. I think I should have one right there.
Those first, from here to there should go fast. Except, I noticed a couple of board members had to pick up their packets until they walked through the doors. They don't know what's supposed to be going on.
Stopped and talked to her there this morning. And asked me if I was feeling that hole in my pasture close to the board. I said, they don't have everything done by this week.
Really?
That's what they said, next 2 days.
So,
They were digging my yard up today.
really hate it. I should have read.
Look on the front.
Do you go, oh,
The one for the
This used to be
line.
bad for me though. My yard was
On the first. So that's, I opened that, it was a tree proposal. We never got one for that, we never got a proposal for that. They charged us.
So you say one of these gets to go into the sewer line right first?
Yeah.
And then what about number 4?
Number 4 is what?
The other tree.
There were 2 tree proposals. So one was put in the line people instead of having a proposal for that.
For the same tree?
Yeah. Yeah, he said it's the same proposal for.
They were all built.
We never got it.
Speaking of which, so.
I think that.
sign in.
I'm not remembering anything, so there's nothing else we can't do in your order. And so we have our camera going there, and the microphone should be. Before we start the meeting though, I just just want to be sure that we are all treating each other with respect and professionalism, and that we are all grown adults.
I can't use my taste. I can't use my taste. I know that. I know that.
Oh, that's
Your speaker's working.
good.
I can hear it.
Great, good. I'm tired of messing with you with this now, so this is just Band-Aid fix for now.
I think I heard it.
You want to?
Oh, yeah.
When we're going to go over some
Today's your birthday? You're a baby.
What is the open house about?
We just, it's kind of a customer appreciation. We do it every year.
Wait till you.
Nice.
Yeah. We cook out and give away some prizes.
The new flag is nice.
Yes.
It always makes me happy to see that.
My favorite's going in and what I need is back over alcohol.
Yo.
So I sent her a text.
No, I didn't get it. But everybody else, it was 5 minutes and they got pretty close. I sat down on the counter after this. I said, oh, so it's been good before you went to talk. I was there for that. Just cross my mind.
Town of Tryon Board of Trustees regular meeting August 5th, 2025, 6 p.m. First Baptist Church, 122 West First Street, Tryon, Wyoming. The agenda. Number 1, call to order. Number 2, roll call. Number 3, consideration action on the consent agenda, approval of the minutes of July 1st or July 2nd.
So, well, and so you guys know as well, I was down there with this afternoon, developmental stuff. So now we don't have the audio file recorder issuing folders of those meetings, so we know the preference of the zone are not even showing up in the folder. So there's something for which you are mobile. We're going to talk about maybe going forward with the orders, making sure that one of them does it.
Send the recording for the last meeting was
what it's doing. I've been over here.
Yeah,
It's hard.
they're having difficulty hearing out here, and part of it is because, you know, everybody's talking. That doesn't help at all. I can tell you, from standing there, it's hard to hear, so make sure we speak up and you can hear it.
There's a speaker, or do you think it's set on top of it?
We thought that July 1st, July 2nd.
It's on the other back here, right?
Did it sound better?
You won't reach in for it.
So whether it's you, type first. Right.
But
Whatever I have, that's on that. I move to approve exhibit 14. And then I move that we table the first until
My agenda doesn't have minutes on it for July 14th.
Yeah,
Vote on something that's on the agenda. I made a motion that we amend the meetings for the July 14th meeting instead of the July 2nd meeting.
We can't hear you.
She commented on the police report.
I was the police report from the Iowa tribe is kind of basic, and I was questioning about having them put on if a citation was given, so we kind of have an idea of what's going on in the town. So that's what I was asking her, and I'll ask Iowa tribe if they get here. On the Iowa side. Well, I might have.
Good, I make a motion to 5 minutes ahead.
Yes.
outdoors furniture, so it's like a couple rocking chairs, some wobble stools, sensory tables, stuff like that. We had, I'd say probably 15 kids show up to our back to school bash on Saturday. But really, it was pretty smooth. We finished out summer program. Yes. We had 17 kids show up for summer program throughout the summer. We gave away 200 of our food boxes for summer feeding, which is the equivalent of 2,000 kids. So we did pretty good this summer.
You notice in the reports on the financials, there is a section of, is it either undeclared or unresolved charges on there, you know, way back in 2021?
Yeah, most of them are from like Sandy's time, and I don't know about that.
Are there like a list of the money for it, or
No, they're all paid stuff, I just don't know.
get off on the board?
Yeah.
What do you think is
I make a motion to accept the library report. What's the WILBOURN?
That's the first thing on the grant screen.
So she's still kind of listening and everything? Do we currently have any issue with the or is it
She
just
was
a-
working on the center, so when we had gotten discussed it, it was like $6,000 part of like one of the grants. I've turned paperwork into, the like the contact them. Sharing it with us. I've turned paperwork into her, we're supposed to release those grants over to us. Those grants are also, when she was talking about the things we're building, furniture for our building. So as far as I know, that's one of the ones I asked for, I think, on, because I've done everything right.
Was that the concept also?
I want to say she was supposed to for the vision, not just saying that she doesn't have the time to work something.
This is different.
She hasn't shown
But
that.
it's the other one.
Bypass this, just the right hospital center, see where some of this stuff is?
If I'm not mistaken, I think she said, like, since she's over the commissioner, it will go through her. But if I can do a phone call or her contact me back, figure out what she's doing, whether she's gonna stay with us or if she's moving on or whatever, then somebody else can decide.
She had it, the first one was 10,000, and the second one would have been 100,000. But, this one doesn't seem to want to.
I don't know.
Because I don't want to say that let's not be on president, but it's been 6 months now.
Now, I don't know what things is, I don't know about park reconstruction grants and all this, I'm not aware of any of this last time I think about it. And if she's on family vacation, we need to go to California, maybe she wasn't on those grants, but. About the next couple days, I think that's that.
I'm a hard time with it.
Google what it is.
Reimbursement back for the porch, no, that was for the board. And there is some extra stuff on that report as well, which is going on the back, like we talked last time. can't take away what I took, okay, that way, that should have been attached to it, for boots, but it doesn't get all that.
You don't know how to pass this without someone to kind of, I'm not talking about, but there's a lot of quick areas that we're talking about. Really, so it's like, you guys would go through that you want to go through.
Not that I'm aware of, we just had,
We hired,
yeah, we hired somebody.
I first grade.
I don't know what else to
Would you guys be offended if I put that?
Not at all.
Because I don't think I can do it anyway. It's something that we hear a lot, so.
Yeah, I learned how to touch probably with this, it's like the last year. So, you know, we try to look at flow on how to get rid of the extra, the extra things that are listed on our financials, but those are the ones we want to take. So, yeah, there's things out there.
The only thing I saw is that the front page for this PTE, right under franchise tax. It shows a deposit, that's $100.
Yes, and you can look at.
Yeah. Pretty much for down, we've got the franchise fee, that's education, and then there's PTE.
It's probably all in the same deposit slip, so that's why it's got that space right there, if it goes off to the right where it says split, there's a split deposit, so there's a citation. No, that's the total, that's on that deposit slip, so that's a citation payment and entry fee and franchise tax.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve monthly financial reports.
I'm just curious.
On which page?
Very large on this, yeah, very large on.
Two lines, exactly.
Because they're split, because it's the town and the, no, it's that, all that check is split. Yeah, so that's why it's the same check on the same page.
I don't know if that was another one of the strokes. I'll help it.
Approval of monthly claims.
It's because one is a funeral, one's a. have Amazon Prime at the top of the list or whatever, so it probably just auto-filled in my bar. But we are going to print off and separate. We're trying to get a better way, just like with fuel, to try to separate them. When we order stuff off of Amazon, depending on where they come from, then we take out that whole amount and charge that, but then they come from like different locations. So we don't get a copy of those purchases, like what purchases were connected, until like we receive those items. So we've saved those, but we don't hold up to that, so we're trying to figure out a system that when we start doing it, it's in someone does get to look at exactly what purchases. We are, the Amazon Prime, or the Amazon purchases, you say the house.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're trying to work out, some of the there's stuff that's a little more detail. As we're doing those paper slips, we're gonna note on the,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
A purchase report.
well, sometimes, I haven't done that because, sometimes some of the items that we ordered, we sometimes get reimbursements back because it's not the same price or we got it from another location. So I haven't.
Start putting up some kind of purchase report.
Yeah, that's what, yeah, we're trying to figure out something.
Do you think we might be able to see a prototype next to the regular meetings?
I'll make a motion to approve the claims for future.
Public appearances, petitions, demonstrants, communications, and personal appearances. Mary Lee, you're first on board.
Well, I'll talk loud enough for everybody, including the videos, to hear me. I'm here to call for the resignation of Richard Meyer. Number one, holding illegal meetings. He's admitted to holding one illegal meeting. Then last month, when the builder was here, 2 board members were approved by the other board members to go with him and look over the new building. And Mr. Meyer shows up, and when he showed up, he said, well, we can reconvene the meeting. I'm sorry, that's an illegal meeting. There was no notice, no agenda, the public wasn't involved, and the other board members were not involved. So twice, we've had illegal meetings. He has a persistent and purposeful violation of Oklahoma statutes, especially his role as mayor. He seems to think that as the mayor, he doesn't need to get the rest of the board involved. He can make decisions on his own. And that's not how Oklahoma's law is written. And do you recognize this, Brittany? Sandy, do you recognize it? Jim, do you recognize it? Mr. Meyer, do you have one?
I have one, yes.
Oh, yes. but you wanna claim ignorance of the law. Ignorance of the law is not an excuse. You went to training, and you should know how this works. According to the state of Oklahoma, in our training guide right here, it says the town trustees are blue, and we have a blue page in our notebook showing that the state of Oklahoma considers us a town. We are not a city. We are not an aldermanship. We are a town, and we are to follow the town form of government. And in that training, we learned that the mayor's only purpose is to run the meeting and to do ceremonial things. That's all you have the power to do. It takes 5 votes, 3 of 5 votes to get a majority in order to do something. And that does not mean you can walk in and you can create a quorum and call for a meeting to be resumed. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. I would say to the board, if Mr. Meyer refuses to step down as mayor, that you ensure he goes to the state training every year, because apparently he has a very short memory. Very short memory. Illegal executive session, I came in and I talked to the board. Mr. Meyer's answer, after he had been elected mayor, was that if there was a problem from the agenda, I need to contact Brittany. I'm a member of the citizenship. Mr. Meyer is our mayor. If there's a problem with the agenda, it should be him. But like today, he doesn't get his agenda until he walks into the room. He voted on a financial statement he never looked at before 5 minutes ago. But that's our mayor. And we'll talk about the theft from the town on the utility side. But Mr. Meyer is stealing from the town. And I have the papers to prove it.
How's he stealing it? Say that again.
I didn't hear.
I can, you'll listen on the utility side.
She's accusing without getting proof.
I am.
Sure.
So you said there were 2 legal meetings. The second one you said was.
I can't hear you.
You didn't do that speaker closure, because I can hear myself out of it.
Yeah, all it really is doing is kind of echoing. It doesn't help us hear you.
I would turn it off.
So you said that there was 2 illegal meetings. The second one you said was at the building where Mr. Meyer amended to extend the meeting.
Yes.
There was no extended meeting there. There was never more than 2 board members there at any time. Richard left before the second board member got there. How do you call that, and just out of curiosity, how would you call that in a legal meeting?
Because he could not call to resume a meeting that's already been adjourned.
But the meeting wasn't.
The meeting was adjourned.
Right, but if the meeting was not continued or done, then how would you classify it as an illegal meeting if the meeting never happened?
He called for the meeting.
He didn't. Okay. I call for things to my husband all the time, doesn't mean I get.
You did.
The other one is you said that there was what was the first illegal meeting? Are you going back to when Richard met with Nathan and myself?
Yes.
We were not technically board members yet, we still had not.
Technically, according to the state, the first Monday at noon after the election, you are.
And we met the Sunday before that, so technically we were not. So again, that would, I mean, was it, and like I said before, was it shady? Yes, absolutely. Nathan and I were concerned that we weren't allowed to get any information from the previous board, as you may remember. that to go to it, so we asked to meet with, see what was going on. But again, can you classify that as an illegal meeting when only one technical board member is there? I mean, these are strong accusations you're throwing out, so I just want to make sure that all of the facts are out there for 2 cameras.
Suddenly, I can hear you, but when you were visiting back and forth, it was so low that we couldn't hear you. How about when we need to know what you guys are doing, you could speak up like you are now?
Yep, and I'm trying. We have another microphone, another speaker that we're trying. I'm working on it. So I haven't given up yet on that part yet. The next question I had was the financial statement that you voted on. You claimed that our mayor voted on a financial statement that he'd never seen. Are you prepared to throw the same accusation Nathan Jones, who also did not see it, because those packets were not prepared until this afternoon for us to even begin to look at?
I'm just saying that Mr. Meyer didn't have his packet before the meeting.
Neither did another board member, but you're only calling out the one.
Okay, I'll call out Mr. Jones as well.
Okay.
You already picked it up when I hadn't been in town until last night.
I would like to add that Mr. Meyer, because of stepping in and upsetting the contractor, put the new town hall building back by 2 months. There had to be a special meeting on the 14th to straighten things out and for the board to let Mr. Meyer know that he can't make those decisions without the other board members.
Correct. It was also there to go over the ADA compliance. I myself was one of those that wanted the building to stop until we could actually meet with the contractor, who we've been trying to get a hold of for 6 weeks, to ask questions so that we didn't spend a lot of the town's money building a building that then had to be rebuilt to match ADA requirements. Something which is obviously near and dear to my heart as a disabled person. So I really appreciate, and this is just myself speaking, I really appreciate previous board members coming up and giving their experience and their knowledge. I really wish more people would, especially for those of us who are new to this. But if we're going to throw out accusations, we need to make sure that they're 100% correct. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Now, my response, Mary Lee, our agendas are supposed to be given to us 4 or 5 days in advance. Brittany's been very busy with a water leak on North Oklahoma Street. She's been busy with other things. She's notified us by emails that we aren't going to get them until yesterday. I have no idea why we didn't get them yesterday. I had not been able to pick one up. Normally it's dropped off at my house the day before, 2 or 3 days before. I did not get it, so I picked it up when I got here this night.
There was an email sent out last night that she was having issues.
I know.
There are problems with QuickBooks and
Right, it wasn't gonna happen last night.
We understood that.
Well, you sent it there, but you didn't know why you didn't get it last night. You got an email.
As for the illegal meeting, we had a meeting that was at the Baptist Church. Before we adjourned, we said we were moving down to the town hall. I said I wanted to go. A couple other members said they were going to go. I got down there. Brittany said it wasn't on an agenda, a separate agenda. That's fine. I left. The meeting was never called. We could have called it because it wasn't on the agenda at this location, and we said we were moving it down to that location.
That's not quite, wait a minute.
That's not quite correct.
That
We
is-
never made a motion to move the meeting.
No, we
or
did not.
continue.
But we said we were moving down.
We adjourned the meeting and Asher asked if a couple board members could come down and go over the questions we had. The meeting was adjourned. Jenna and I said we would go down and meet with Asher. You came flying up and got out, and I said, Richard, you can't be here. And you said we could continue the meeting, and I said we can't continue the meeting because it was already adjourned.
And I left.
Yes, but
Which was not the greatest moment, but again, it was not technically any.
Page 2-A-3, continued or reconvening meeting means a meeting which is assembled for the purpose of finishing business appearing on an agenda of a previous meeting. For the purposes of the Oklahoma Open Meeting Act, only matters on the agenda of the previous meeting with the announcement to the public may be reconvened or continued. I don't know that the public got that information.
Which is why it wasn't continued.
Problem is, Mr. Meyer believes that he can.
And I'm not discounting your opinion on that at all. Like I said, I just want to make sure the facts are there.
According to the state, 6-A-1, the penalty for violating the Open Meetings Act can be both civil and criminal. Any public official that violates the Open Meetings Act can be held liable. Are there any other questions about what
Oh,
I
no,
said?
that was, I just wanted to ask a couple clarifications on that, so. And again, though, thank you for bringing your opinions to us, even if it's not what we want to hear.
I do have to say, I appreciate the new board members and the job you're doing. I'm not,
And I very much appreciate the old board members and the job that they tried to do as well.
Well, if I can add, I'll just say this, we'll start throwing out and talking about statutes and all those kinds of things. What you're reading, Mary Lee, you're exactly correct, you're reading it accurately. There is no crime of an attempted violation of the Open Meetings Act. It either has to happen or it doesn't. You're either pregnant or you're not. There's no such in between. So I think, and I know I wasn't here for that meeting, I wasn't there. But my understanding is what I've heard, and this just illustrates that point. When I used to do trial work, I always had one of my favorite things. I had a big one of those letter cubes that you used to have in the nurseries that had the A's and the B's and the C's or whatever, and I'd take it out in front of the jury and I'd hold it there and I'd say, what letter is on this block? You tell me what you saw from this front, but if I look down, I see a different letter. Perspective matters a great deal, and sometimes what happens is people's here and they see one thing, but they don't know the whole story. And I just want to say, at least on the 14th, it's my opinion, there was no violation of the act. Had he stayed, you had 3 members, you got a quorum, and then all of a sudden you do have a problem. And if they're addressing that, they take care of that one, it sounds like that was aborted, and so there wasn't a violation. And I think that a district attorney or a judge would also agree with that opinion. But it is, I think, what this illustrates is a great chance for a learning moment for everybody to just say, look, we got to be clear about what we're doing, how we're saying, what we're communicating. The public, obviously this town, in the time that I've been here, I will applaud the town because I've got other towns that I do, they have board meetings and the board is there and nobody ever shows up. That's it. With the sweep, the yin and the yang, that's what you get. You got a town of people who care and they're concerned and they show up, and that's an imperative part of the whole process. The board's up here, and I think my sense is they do their best to try to go carry out their duties. And we all just make sure we're communicating and figure this stuff out and kind of learn as we go through this. As far as that goes, that's all I really want to say. So,
May I interject something?
Pardon me?
May I inject something?
I'm an opponent of free speech. I don't know how, if you're not signed in, I don't know if we really can. I'd be happy, but I mean, I'm not gonna I don't wanna go spell it. I don't wanna create a free-for-all, but I just.
I'll add a little bit to that situation. I was at the last meeting. It did adjourn here, as Sandy said, and Jenna. It did take place, it did adjourn. We got over there, I went over there just to see the structure and how it was progressive. Richard did show up. He tried to call a continuance. He did try, and he was stopped by these two ladies. Told him he could not do that. That did take place, and they did stop it, and it ceased right there. He did leave. He attempted to, and I'll take her up a little bit on her side here. He doesn't really, if he does know what he's supposed to be doing, he's not following it. He needs to be educated a little more on the procedure to do this. That's my take on it.
I think the issue I had with it was, when we left here that night, after we adjourned, it was agreed amongst us, the two people that goes down there. And Richard knew about that when he left here, which two was going down there, and he showed up anyway. So, in my opinion, it's, you gotta use your head a little bit more on the decisions that you make for this town, so.
The next meeting, we probably should talk about the NOI training classes that Mary suggested. And if we do need to go through them once our first year, that's it. Does it sound like a great suggestion?
I think by law you're required your first year and your fifth year.
It's just once and done, what they told me just 2 weeks ago.
They changed it, because I had it all.
I would want to go more, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. They might have changed it, I don't know.
Depending on the cost, maybe the policy go to on a regular every year basis, or every other year.
Anybody else on the downside?
Yeah.
Jeannie, right?
I thought we were having an adult conversation the other day. Brought back to me, and you said, I was too on. And they said, just, I didn't know what was going on with the department, so I'm gonna ask you to propose. That's what came back to me.
I said you came by and you said some stuff about me going to prison.
Well, yeah, because the rice was over the mark.
Right. Which well, I have a chain of command I have to follow, which is why I told them, and
Why I was
but like we were
having, what I thought was an adult conversation. And I wanted to apologize if you thought it was.
no, I did.
It's just a public, I'm not a board.
I did think you were getting on.
We would.
Thank you.
On that note, we are gonna be putting these guys into the town after, first one.
Yeah.
And they took the time and got my book on, so we're gonna be able to team up.
I know, he's always in your mind, I know, that's why I was like.
Anybody else want to go off close quarters?
Stop. I thought it better.
Item number 6, approval of the Board of Trustees on Tryon entering an executive session in accordance with Title 25, Section 307, subsection D1, discussing employment, hiring, appointment, promotion.
Hold on.
I think y'all signed in on the wrong side.
We should be on that list somewhere.
She signed in.
After Mary Lee.
Yeah, she signed up on the utility side, and so let's speak now. She signed on the utility side, but she can speak now if she wants to. Sure, yeah, that's fine.
Now?
Yeah, this says the town side up here, and then there's another list for utility, but you can speak now if you want.
You don't wanna wait.
Okay. If that's okay.
That's fine.
It's kind of a utility, issue, but we have been made aware that there is a board member that has a daughter that is getting free water, and we're very upset about that. We
Board
pay,
members also.
well, the board members are getting their free water and sewer as well. That is optional, but if each one paid their bill like we pay our bill, we could afford, we'd have more revenue to be able to pay a person a decent salary to take care of the water and sewer. So that's kind of a problem that we have. And first problem is, no board member's daughter should be getting free water. We pay $200, $300, sometimes a month. We're never late, but I don't like an exception to the rule. It's wrong. So the board should do something about that.
They should not be getting free anything from the town.
You know, you should think about that and do a little consideration and thought in that, because it certainly would help the revenues that the town would have to pay for what we need. And, you know, when you sit on the board, Jerry did for years, there was nothing free about sitting on the board.
I was on the board for probably 20 years.
He did it.
We never took any, we didn't take a dime from the town.
He did it because he cared about the town of Tryon. He wanted to do what was right. He wanted to help the town. He didn't want to take from the town. So that's our issue. We have a real problem. But first, the real problem of a board member's family getting free water is so very wrong, and it needs to stop. Thank you.
I want to add just a little bit with Mary Lee on the, like I said, I was on the board for probably 20 years. And it was run by, if we did not have a mayor as such, it was the chairman of the board. And that's the way it's worked for 100 years. Now, why would you want to change it? Thank you.
Because you've got a big ass head.
I'll address your question. I bought the property in 2016, early 2017. For 5 years, the property is mine, all 10 acres. Currently has 2 houses on it. The main house, where my son and daughter-in-law live, and my grandson, has all the barns and all the water for the animals. The little house we moved out so she could have some time to herself because she's got MS. She spent hundreds of days in the hospital with MS over the last 13 years. We have to live close to her. I do not have to pay for sewage, it's just water and garbage. My bill for 5 years averaged about $110 a month for both properties.
Still,
But I would
it's,
have to say, you have 2 water meters out there. Okay, you have 2 different mattresses out there. And that right there, you are not living on that one property where that.
I actually have questions about this for stuff and everything, and I was gonna bring up the utility side. And we didn't.
Seven, this needs to be brought up on the utility side.
Well,
Let's do it now. Shop is open, let's do it now.
I think the answer is that.
Well, but it's on the utility agenda, it's not on the PETITIONS.
But if we're addressing it in the public, I mean, this is kind of both, it's both utility questions because it's substantive, but it is more generic kind of business because they out a compensation matter for. So, I think it,
Yeah, just turn it off.
I think it could be, it could be either. So, I mean, that's my honest opinion, I don't think you're violating, you can talk about it here, you can talk about it there, and since they've raised it here, we're talking, because it has elements of both. if that makes sense.
I actually have Mr. Meyer's water utility billing consumption.
Why,
It's open record.
for another residence?
Uh-huh. I requested it legally, and
Is that something I can see?
when I'm done, yeah. And according to my map, since Mr. Meyer has been on the board, there's been $5,071.80 of water consumption. Now, if you're fair about it, and you split that in half evenly, it comes to 25, 35, 90. Now, the deal is, Mr. Meyer said it himself, is that the White House, his son's house, it's not his daughter, it's his son and their daughter-in-law. The White House is where the son and the daughter-in-law live. The tiny house is where Mr. Meyer and his wife live. Mr. Meyer's comment publicly was, my son can't afford that bill. And if we want to get into law, the utility is a trust, meaning it belongs to everyone in the town of Tryon. And Mr. Meyer has broken that trust. Mr. Meyer also didn't include that his daughter-in-law and son filled their swimming pool at least once, if not twice, in a year. And since we're going over this, there are basic rules for the Oklahoma constitutional provision. You cannot donate or give or subsidize. If I need to explain the word subsidize, I can.
I think we all.
Any individual or other entity. You can't give away water. You can't. When Mr. Sloan was on the board, he did not give his mother's house water. When I was on the board, I didn't give my dad water.
My question.
Jim owned 3 houses at one time, 2 on north of Main, or South Main, and the one right here behind the church. He didn't get free water for all 3 buildings. As a matter of fact, I don't think he took any at all.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
My question to you, Stefan, was how does the state of Oklahoma rule as a residency? Because the issue that, from everything I've read, we have the issue of we have 2 houses with separate water meters, but they're both on the same lot that we built. So my question is just legally from the lawyer,
So,
would the residency be considered the house, or would the residency be considered the property?
Town ordinance defines it as, and it's in the ordinance book, 2 separate households. Mr. Meyer actually lived in the fifth wheel for quite a time.
I remember.
The board gave him a variance. He extended that variance from 1 year to 2 years to 3 years. And when the board called him in, because it was my first meeting in 2019, when the board called him in, he called the entire board stupid. And he said that he was not going to move out of the fifth wheel. Surprisingly, 2 weeks later, he moved out. At that meeting, it was explained to him that each residence, whether they're on the same lot or not, each residence has to have their own water meter, and they are individual accounts. They are separate accounts.
But again, my question then goes to, according to the ordinance, it says that the board member is given free water. It does not specify as to anything, which is what we try to do to find it. So, all the personal feelings aside, because I can feel I can tell Marilee that you don't like Richard, and I can hear a lot of that in this.
That's not true. I would feel the same way about you or Mr. Jones or Jim. Jared and Candace Prickett were my friends. That did not change the fact that I called the Attorney General, that I called the state auditor, that I was in court every single time they were in court. But they were my friends.
So if the ordinance says that, and we move to define it, would it be an acceptable compromise for the house, the big house, to have the comped water, and the small house to have a paid water?
He doesn't live in the big
Mr.
house.
Meyer resides in the small house. That's where he resides.
He owns the whole property.
Okay, here's what, I've done this with boiling over, I've done some looking, and I've looked at this, and I know you asked for my, so residence is pretty simple. As a general matter of legal interpretation, how Oklahoma law is brought, if you go with the most simple definition that everybody can understand, that's kind of what you go with, and then if there's other things that are conflicting or makes it vague or ambiguous, then you gotta start diving deeper into it. I think anybody in this room would know if I said, what's your residence? I mean, where do you live? And that's an address, and that's how a town does it. So that's what a residence is. It's what's on your driver's license, it's what's on your proof of residence. If you have a kid in school, they say, I want proof of residence. If you're in the district, okay, you give your electric bill or your gas. I mean, that's how you define, that's what a residence is. We all know what that means, okay? Now, there is an issue here, and some of this predates me. And I will say this, and I don't know how many folks are looking at this because, and Brittany and I were discussing this before the meeting ever started because I had a question for her. Because it's my understanding that prior to my involvement as town attorney, there was something that was done that was said, hey, board members, you know, you're not paid, you're doing this. But a concession was made in the ordinances that said, the town code, that you're going to comp a water bill for them in exchange for their services up to a maximum of $300. And I said, okay, fine. And I go online, on the online code to look for that. And that provision is nowhere in the version of the code that sits online. It is nowhere. It doesn't say that, period. And I asked Brittany, and there is apparently a version, and I don't know where this comes from because I wasn't here, wasn't involved, and I would have to defer to folks. And so Mary Lee, I'm going to ask you because I know you were on the board before. I don't know when it happened, but at some point in time, the town code, there's a version that sits in that book that does have a provision that says, as compensation for board members, they will receive. It's real vague, and it's real broad, and it's real general, and it's horribly written, and I'll say that because I didn't write it. And so that's because I wouldn't have said that. But it's very broad, and it's just they will get. Okay, yeah, read it.
It says the compensation of certain officers shall be. The compensation of certain officers shall be set by ordinance pursuant to the provisions of Title 11, Section 12-113 of the Oklahoma State Statutes. The compensation of each of the following shall be as respectively indicated. It says 1, town clerk, $300 per month. 2, members, board of trustees, water, sewer, and trash service at no cost to board members during their service as board members.
Okay, and that's all it says. And it doesn't even have the up to $300 maximum, okay? I don't know where or when that came into the town code. I have no clue. And this isn't like state statutes where I can go back and I can read the legislative notes and all that. We don't have that. I'd have to go comb back through a whole bunch of, and I don't know. I haven't done that, but I will tell you that's what your town's ordinance says. for the board members.
We need to change the town ordinance.
Well, with all due respect, I understand, okay, but that's what we have to look at. The ordinance now provides it's there. And with all due respect to you, sirs, I knew it. You were showing me the statute. I know what the statute says. State statute, which is kind of governing, says compensation of all elected town officers shall be fixed by what? Ordinance. What's the ordinance? In this case, it's the town code. It's the town ordinances, okay? So right now, we have an ordinance that says board members are gonna receive basically comp, water, sewage, and trash during their time of service. As I said, it's vague. It doesn't provide a limit. It doesn't even tie it to residents. It doesn't say those words. What I have told everybody who's asked me, it would stretch anybody's belief to suggest that anybody who did that when they did it thought, hey, board member, you've got 15 houses in town, you get them all comped. That would, nobody would have suggested, you own a community swimming pool, and you're gonna refill that every month and get fresh water, and that's gonna be, that would be ridiculous too, because that's a commercial enterprise, I would presume. That's not about personal for there. And I don't think anybody honestly believes it means anything other than that. We're in a bad situation because we're dealing with interpretations of what somebody intended and what that says. There are, and as you pointed out, sir, there are in fact people who will tell you that as board members, you shouldn't receive free water because it can create an ethical problem. So the board members are all free to say, I know what the ordinance says, I'm going to refuse, I will not accept that, I'm just going to pay my bill, but you're not required to because the ordinance says that's your compensation. You get nothing else, but you get a free water bill. Okay? You want to know what my opinion is? It's for one residential address. When we start talking about, well, is it this one or that one? Here's the trouble that now we're wading off into deep water, and this is not a matter that, I mean, we're going to have to go to a court somewhere to go figure out interpretation of all this stuff. And that's where, so if everyone wants to sit around and say, hey, we're going to lawyer up, and they're going to, I don't know. My suggestion is, everybody sit down and figure out, here's what our law says now. If the town citizens don't like the ordinance, there's got to be a way that you petition the board to say, hey, the next election we want to have a change, we want to amend the town code. And if the votes carry and you win that when you change the ordinance, boom, that's it, because the state statute says any compensation is governed by town ordinance. You have to change the ordinance, okay? I mean, that's what you have to do. And the board can't change an ordinance by fiat at a board meeting. I've explained that to them too. You can't do that either.
Can we define an ordinance? Can we more specifically define an ordinance without it being considered a change?
Correct. That's when you get into, now we're talking interpretation and we're trying to interpret what an ordinance means. Somebody's going to have to, especially when it's vague and not well written and not specific. That's the problem why you don't want to be non-specific and all those things. So yes, I believe the board can try its best to interpret the ordinance as it exists today to enforce it and apply it within the town. And if people disagree with the board's interpretation or how they do that, my opinion then, I don't advise you guys, I'm the town, but I'm here, is if you don't like the interpretation or how they come up with it, then you figure out, how do I change the ordinance? How do I go the next election and run for office and get on the board? And I have a say there. Those are all things, or whether you want to go find a lawyer who thinks they want to go sue the town because the town board's acting, if you believe, illegally, whatever. That's how that has to get resolved.
It might be legal, but it's sure not right.
And I respect your opinion. That's what I'm saying. I totally respect where you're coming from. I don't want anybody to hear me saying otherwise, because I will tell you candidly, and I don't have a dog in the fight other than I'm the town board attorney. I don't live here. It's not my law. I don't. Yeah, I have problems with it. It's not well written, and it may not have been thought through very well because of the. Look, if you want to say, hey, as a reward for doing this because you put up with a lot of, my term of art is crap. When you're a board member, maybe there's something you get, but maybe it's not free water because water is a precious asset that everybody goes and deals with, and that one varies. We don't ever know what that really is. I mean,
well, that's all self-inflicted.
Everybody's, and that's how that goes. There's got to be some way to go get it. But then I'm going to go back to my other, for the whole town, and I'm talking to the board and the people of the town. everybody's gotta sit down and communicate and figure out and kind of come to some conclusion of what we think is right and best and go do what is in the town's best interest. Okay? And that's where we are.
Can
Maybe
we find
it's
the ordinance through a motion, or does it have to be with public hearings and everything else?
Change the ordinance, you gotta.
Change the ordinance, you
Change,
have.
but not to define it.
If we deal with definitions of how it's interpreted and applied, I think,
That's a change.
but that, well, if you're interpreting as it exists, you're not changing it, you're just trying to clarify it. And now, and again, Mary, what I would tell you is, if you disagree and think, well, they did more than interpret, they actually changed it, then you have to go a different route to challenge that. I think you have the right to do an interpretation matter as a board member. But understanding, and I will tell you, you walk a fine line when you do that because of those concerns. Same thing outside here. I mean, they have the right to go say, we're trying to interpret and apply it and enforce it, but bear in mind, it is on the books, so it's there. I don't know how it got there, but it is. It may not be the best, but it's.
Refuse it, correct?
Pardon me?
They can refuse it.
They can refuse it, absolutely, they can do that. I mean, they were free to say, hey, I don't want that. But again, I don't mean to say, I'm not judging anybody for taking it. I mean, you can't, it's on the book, that's there. So but they have, yeah, they could say, I'm gonna forego that. You know, that's their right.
Where the real problem lies, Mr. Meyer has 2 households, and he should not be getting free water for his son and daughter-in-law.
Well,
That, maybe it's poorly written.
right, no,
But you, as an individual, should say, no, I don't think this is right. I should not be getting this at all.
It's a question of ethics.
So, we
Yeah.
have a real problem.
I understand that, and don't hear me saying other. I think that the intent behind whatever it was, and of course I'm out there guessing a little bit because I just common sense helped me. The intent would have been to say, hey, board members, in exchange for you doing this and doing what you're doing, we're going to provide this for you, and that's fine. It just wasn't well thought out, and it wasn't well written. But I think the intent would have been, it's for you. Now, I will say this too, and not that it totally matters. I mean, if a board member, and I'm not going to call, well, I can't, because we're talking about Richard. If Richard chooses to say, look, I get one as a town board member, and if I'm not going to take it, but I've got a son and a daughter that's disabled over here, but I want mine to go here, then really at the end of the day, there's no difference if he's not getting 2. But if that's where he's choosing to go do it, and I don't. But again, I can't get in here to go advise over those things. But I'm just telling you, I think at that point, while I understand your concern about, well, his daughter or son and daughter-in-law should. Again, we're walking a fine line because the ordinance says he's entitled to 1. I believe there's 1.
That's
okay?
ethical.
And what? And that's where you get into, and that's the problem. The law isn't always the same as ethics and all that. I mean, the law is the bottom, the minimum standard, but it is there. So that as it exists.
Water is a commodity to the town as a utility.
Right.
The water is a commodity. It is sold to the public. So if you're taking water without paying it, that's theft of a public utility and a commodity.
Well,
now
I'm going to disagree with Mary, only because this ordinance says, as a board member, they're entitled to get their water bill paid. So it's not theft. It is but it's created a particular situation because of the nature of what water is and all that. That's why it's different than other things too. And so I understand the concern. I'm just telling you, I can only read the ordinance as it is written and as it exists and tell you that's what your town ordinance says.
Well, and I can tell you that Mr. Brown was unfairly fined for the same thing that Mr. Meyer's doing. He had a water line that didn't run through the meter. Why is not Mr. Myers gonna be held accountable for the same thing?
Is it the same thing if there's 2 meters versus not going through the meter?
Where's my water not going to the meter?
I don't think the lights was the water line running through the meter. The meter was tampered with. Is that the one that you're talking about?
situation. Either way, I don't see a difference. I really don't see a difference.
I was fined for breaking the valve off the top of a water meter, for my water meter. So it was not for taking water, not paying for it. My contractor, I had a contractor working. He went out, shut the water off at the water meter, which is before the valve, before the water meter, the valve was shut off. Broke the top of it off, so it started leaking. They fined me $500, gave me a plumbing bill of $600 something, charged me for a new water meter. It all came to about $1,200. I offered to fix the thing. The previous council meeting, I told them I would fix for it. I would even pay the $600 bill. My contractor was willing to fix it for less than $200. No, they wouldn't go for it. The city council wouldn't find me. And the previous meeting, when we talked, before I had hip surgery, they gave me the indication they were probably not going to charge me that whole $500 fine. Go have my hip surgery. They had another city council meeting, and all five of them voted to fine me the $500 and $1,200 water bill. I've been trying to help this community, this town, in many ways, and let they go and do that kind of crap to the residents.
And I understand, and I don't want to get too far afield there, but come in here and say, well, but I have this quibble because when my water bill did it, that's not what happened. But what we're dealing with is what's going on right now, and I can only tell you, what the ordinance says and where they are right now, and then that's kind of where we are. That basically is.
Well, I would just like to say this. We can discuss this all evening long, take the time up, and we're not getting anywhere. I would just like to put this to the town board, that they give some consideration on what has happened, and I would hope that they will see fit to stop Mr. Meyer getting paid for 2 households. Now, that's the whole issue. Now, I think discussion needs to end. It's not going anywhere.
Thank you. I agree. We're not. I don't think there's any way. I'm a pretty smart guy and I'm pretty wise, but I'm not going to say stuff that's going to totally appease everybody here, nor are they. I don't think we're going to come up with. But I think it's healthy to have the discussion so everybody knows a little bit, because I'd wager to guess that some of y'all maybe weren't even, didn't know exactly what the town ordinance currently says. And I've told the board members when I'm talking to them about it, it's a problem. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be cleaned up, whether it's taken off the ordinance or whether it's made better, more clear. There's things that are going to have to go do. Okay, so there will be things that happen, but part of it's not becoming. We can't do it all right here tonight. It's going to take some time.
But the board needs to know it is wrong.
And Mr. Meyer knew that before.
This subject has been drowned, and we're not going to come to a good answer tonight. We need to get in the boat and row on down the road and let it settle somewhere else and go ahead with this meeting into other subjects.
I have 3 things to say.
Could I say something? I do, Jerry and I do appreciate each one serving on the town board. That takes a lot of your time, and we understand that, and we are appreciative. But we do, as we expressed, have a problem, and that's all we need to say. And Mr. Meyer, we do not have anything against you. We're not trying to eat at you. We just are aware that we don't feel that's proper.
Okay, the 3 things I want to address on the whole issue here. One, like I said, I paid the water bill for both properties, I paid utilities on both properties, I paid the tax on both houses, I paid the interest, insurances, everything I pay for that property. That's the 10 acres. All our mail comes to that address, 1415 North Oklahoma. The only reason there's a mailbox for 1417 is because they would send the water bill to that, because the old meter used to go to that address. The board, I asked the board back in 2020, I think it was, maybe 2019, for a temporary variance that I could put a fifth wheel on that property, because there used to be a trailer house there owned by Tryon. They said fine. I told them it was going to be there for about 2.5 years, but I could afford to build a house on the site. They did not put an expiration date on the variance. A year later, they came back and removed the variance without it being on the agenda, other than they were going to discuss and make actions on my property. I told them to take me to court. They didn't have the money to. They would have lost in court anyway, but it's not an issue there. The third item is, there's 2 more ordinances besides the one you guys talked about. The third ordinance says that they cannot change any compensation to the board members until after the term of office. If it wasn't an issue for Brad, Mary Lee, Sandy, and Cody for me to have my water paid that way, and it wasn't an issue for Rocky, Mary Lee, Sandy, and Amanda, now all of a sudden it's an issue.
We were not made aware of this until now. A board member came to us. We were not made aware of this. You kept it quiet.
I didn't keep it quiet.
I did not know that there was 2 meters and your son was getting free water.
It was actually brought on by when me and Kim did our audit on the utility side to check all of our bills and outstanding fines and stuff like that. And that's when we have figured out what was going on, and we presented it to the board because we didn't know how we needed to handle it, because there's also no deposit for the son's address as well. So we needed to find out, from what we're understanding of what we're reading, is how we needed to separate it, how we needed to handle it. Kim had left, we're gonna address the new board with the new rules, however they handle that or whatever. We needed to know moving forward, especially with John coming in, how it needed to be separated, and how we needed to address the issue of the past bill, and then how we needed to figure out his son needing to put a deposit into a service agreement.
Let's just get on down the road. Richard, are you willing to let your son's meter be read and charged?
The meters are all mine. The bill is all mine.
So you're saying you're gonna...
I would be willing to pay the one bill, the one that their house is in. I wouldn't pay that one. I'd pay the one for the cabin that I'm living in, $25 a month minimum.
No.
Oh wait. I have 5 horses on that property. I have other animals on that property that all comes off of my other house. I paid that water bill for 6 years.
Unknowns to the rest of the community that you was doing this.
Can I make a motion?
Sure.
I would love to move that we go ahead and do a public hearing next month on this water issue, on removing the ordinance from the town code for any compensation for board members. Let's just get past it once and for all, and be done with it.
Because the way you're thinking right now, there's no common sense to this one. This house right back here is my house. Laying next to it is my property that someone is paying off until they get paid off and it's theirs. Do they get a water bill?
Yes.
Do they pay that water bill?
Is it on the same lot?
Same lot. It doesn't matter, same problem. I own the whole deal. That's what he's basically saying.
He's basically saying that it's one lot.
It's
one
not
lot.
right. We're gonna pay water bill.
So I move that we just go to public hearing next month about removing it from the ordinance completely and just being done.
I agree with that.
Sorry to my husband, that, we'll have to pay water bill again.
Pay water bill.
I'm hoping to get past it and be done with this and try to exclude everybody from this town.
I was here.
If somebody else wants to second it, we take it voted on.
Sandy seconded it.
I was here when that first came about on the board, remember getting water free. I was on the board, but then we did away with it, and we didn't get free water. And then somehow, after I got off the board, we were back on there.
Yeah, I was on the board
But-
when it was taken
but when we
away,
was on the
and
board,
Sandy was too.
It was for the primary residence that you lived in. That's how it was worded. And somehow it got changed to the nonsense that Stephanie just read. But that's the way it was when we first got on the board. It was for the primary residence, for the elected officials. And then it was changed. But I'm done.
That's fine, but I make the motion anyway, just so that it's there and it's on the record, and we can vote if we want to, if you guys don't want to, that's fine, but if it's this much of a problem, let's just get rid of it.
You have to change the other ordinance, since you can't change it until after the
Well,
term's up.
I don't
Which means
know.
you get it for 4 years.
I don't know if
Change
there's
mine
anything we
until
can do about that, but if we can do what we can right now and get rid of it, and I would be more than happy to volunteer to pay my water bill.
That stuff, we're not gonna do this stuff when it comes to her body. See how it's organized or whatever.
And then when we do a public hearing, let's do it for 25 minutes, because I've been thinking this show for a while. Does that make you guys happy?
Yes.
We have a public hearing next month about removing the ordinance completely and just being done with it?
Yep.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Sorry to take up so much time with that.
Well, that's fine.
By doing it now, it'll speed up the next meeting, it should, there we go. The next meeting should go smooth. Smooth as wax, right?
We'll just go with that.
She's now Tryon entering into executive session for 7.5. Resignation of any individual, salary, public official, or employee. You changed.
Sure, I did. Well, maybe I could hear a little bit.
I'm gonna have to come up with my stuff.
We're recording again.
By the way?
No, not at all.
Put it where it needs to be.
We re-had a regular meeting from executive session.
James, second.
Nathan, yes. Richard, yes. Consideration, discussion, action on matters discussed in executive session. Employee check-in, Brittany Wiltie.
So I think there we had a conversation about, actually, about the incident that happened in town hall. We made sure that, Brittany had space to say her piece with it. We checked in, and we're gonna try to take a look at a little more of the technology there to see if we can make their workflow a little bit easier. And what?
More equipment.
Well, just, we have to take a look at equipment first to see what we have, see if we need better or if we just need to improve what we have.
And employee check-in for Jan Lee Coleman.
There was really nothing there that we discussed other than, it's just busy report time for them, and Janet Lee is being great and helping out with the office work a little bit, which she can to help our clerks.
Miscellaneous, consideration, discussion, and action on the board of trustees' roles and responsibilities.
This is my point, that I asked to have on here, in relation to some things that happened and everything else. I was wondering if it would be a little bit more efficient for everybody if employees had a liaison almost, not a manager by any means, but if if somebody has a question, Brandon has a question for a utility side, is there a specific board member he knows he can go to? If there's a question
question about, you know, the town hall and clerks, there's a specific board member that they can go to about it. I didn't know what you guys thought about it, like we said, that we've done in the past that way. You know, I just, you know, I don't even know what the roles would be, but it was something I wanted to bring up to you guys. To see if it's something that you would like to talk about and try to implement.
Would you like that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That it gets a lot coming from my end. I got, you know, say Sandy called me saying this needs to be done. And, you know, say somebody else called me saying this needs to be done. Two different things. I'm only one person. I can only be in one place at one time. You know, it would be a lot easier if I
This
just had
would
to go.
not be a management position in any way. It would just be a single point of contact that an employee would know, hey, if I have a problem with this, I know exactly who to go to.
If they can relay it to the rest of us or to Brittany and Brittany relay it to the rest of us.
Exactly.
I think it's a great idea.
So we gotta leave that with them.
So how do you guys want to figure out what roles we need?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you better be joking.
Yeah,
I had no issues.
and I'll take the utility, yeah.
I have no issues with bringing in, you know, Paul can contact me. I have no issues with that, or even better back, they can contact me.
Do you want to kind of be a point person for the utility side of things?
That's fine.
Is that something you'd be comfortable with?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I agree.
Everybody knows we're trying to make most of the time, we do things,
What other,
We had one for the park, and we had one for police department. I was the one waiting for police department.
We don't have that.
We don't have any. Well, we
Well, if we need to
Somebody said today was
tech
right.
person.
do we need someone for like the public areas and the parks and things like that?
Nope, that's the
What is that?
If there's a utility issue, like the park, all the utilities, that would be great, job, and first public person.
And, you know,
I'll say other people, yeah.
about 35 years, like it's right here.
What other, you said something?
Tech, I think we need, it would really be helpful if you took over the tech.
Yeah, I can for.
Because there's a lot of stuff that slows us down, and me and Brittany have, you know, I come from consideration where I'm not that tech savvy,
Well,
so.
you guys.
It's like beavers.
You guys can tell how much I hate technology, so I mean, if that's something you guys want. I don't know everything, that's for sure, you know.
But you know more than.
What about if we need like a role for, like people in the office, just, you know, personnel, employees, do we need
Maybe Sandy, but she's closer to the office. Would you like to do that, Sandy?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Now, the only thing that I would like to see personally is I don't think whoever the mayor is should have a specific spot, since they already have responsibilities of the mayor. So, is there any part of town that you think that you would?
From down on, really guaranteed now, on Tuesday, Friday. I offer a little bit of physical labor and assistance when I can, but that's all I'm not draining on the water or anything.
He's helping with the track board and stuff like that, like he's fixed the overall track.
What's that?
Once that's settled,
So then, should we just, you know, is that where we should just start?
Yeah, let's do these and see how it works out.
So then, I move going forward then that, myself will be the point of contact for any technology issues. Jim will be the point of contact for any utility or police issues, and Sandy will be the point of contact for any employment and personnel issues.
I'll hold the second.
Thank you.
And if we need to revise it, great, let's revise it. If it doesn't work, let's find something else.
On that part, too, where you can fill that stuff. Right here, it says approves the whole, it's supposed to be approved.
So then I move we amend the agenda so that 9.2 states that So one of the things they were talking about in the NOI training is that they highly recommend it to have our municipal lawyer verify the wording and everything on the agendas before they're posted.
I'm happy to do it. That's fine. I wasn't able to make it before I was like.
So then, when do we need to get those to you, so you have time to look at them, and then we still have time to post them, 4 days before the meeting?
I think I wanna check and see kind of what a schedule would be like to see if maybe we can get stuff on the agenda a little sooner. Kind of look at a different process if we're gonna have that into it. Or maybe try to have like a set date to send it to them.
Yeah, well, we have that.
So then we need to have, so you're suggesting we need to have the agenda done within 10 days before the meeting to step in and shoot review?
I thought that's what, kind of what we said, was kind of have it ready to be.
Yeah, kind of have it.
And posted, so that we could be posted 4 days.
Yeah, so then we could post on the Thursday before the meeting, and that would give you like 5 days to review. Right.
Well, if it's a Thursday before the meeting, and we're supposed to have the packet to you guys 4 days, that's why I said I wanted to look at the calendar. Because we're supposed to have a packet 4 days, and if that's when we're supposed to show them it, then if there's mistakes or need to be corrected, it might just be, a letter or whatever, but that doesn't give us much time to correct any posting and everything else, so. Oh, well, I didn't hear the day.
Well, no, that's why I said, I thought we kind of said that we have everything ready, 10 days to be put out, rather than dropping it the day before.
And then maybe have like a cutoff day as well, of like the stuff we have to.
If we did it that way, we would have Monday through Friday, then Tuesday, the following week.
Do you want to decide that tonight, or do you need to take the time to take?
I would look at it. So honestly, because with court and everything and whatever, that's all it is, a schedule. Yeah, I'll do that.
Just let us know.
I want to do that the first thing tomorrow.
I move that we table 9.2 until next month, to give people time to look at calendars and decide what will be the best course of action.
Any seconds.
Richard Gett.
9.3, consideration, discussion, action on town hall internet adoption.
So when I was up there, right now currently our town hall shares 40 megabits down. I know it's horrible. That is next to nothing. Of course, I happened to be in town hall today. CenturyNet walked in and said they were wiring it up with town. So I would like to figure out what do we need to do to see if we can switch to them. I know we have a deal with ProValueNet. They give us free service. We let them use the antenna.
Yeah, we can also check back with COTC as well, because I talked to Stephen a couple days ago, actually recently. But from what Mike and I talked to him about, he said we're actually supposed to receive it for free. But when we received it, it wasn't for free. But Stephen gave me a different phone number to get a hold of. I can see if I can see that. Okay. Yeah, he said that we might touch base with him and see.
And that pretty great, I got COTC and
$40 and you got it.
yeah, I got that.
It's almost business class.
We pay about $8 a month and we share a fee, which is, 1,000 of that, so. Do you want to reach out to COTC and I can reach out to CenturyNet? Next meeting we can.
Yeah.
And also we would need to see the ProValueNet contract to make sure that we're not violating anything like going this way. So I move we table 9.3, give us time to look at their internet options, and then we can bring that next month in our regular meeting.
I'll second it.
Sandy, yes.
Check, yes.
9.4, consideration, discussion, action on town hall office equipment.
I'm glad I brought some action. So I took a look at some of the computers that are down there. Roy's computer actually isn't too horrible. However, a third monitor would be really beneficial for workflow. Our utility operator's computer is very bare bones. It really could be upgraded. Yours.
You mean, oh, yeah.
It is horribly short on RAM. It is horribly, processor is not great. And again, that's something, more than one monitor is great for workflow. I know that you got your grant writer's license. Would you be willing to look out and see if there's any grants to try to update the equipment?
Absolutely.
What I would love to see is a laptop for each of you. That way, when you have questions in meetings, you have your computer there to look at your emails. And then I would also like, either a router that we can split and separate the library's internet from the town hall's internet, or looking at it two different internet drops. That way we can have some separation between people coming in and using the internet library and the computer systems that have resident information on them. So just a little cybersecurity. So.
Also, here with Dell Computer, Oklahoma City, they do have a program there where they donate laptops and stuff. So give it to them.
And check with Lenovo too to see if they have a program.
So does Microsoft, they have a program.
Yeah, let's check with Dell and Lenovo.
Okay. I forgot about that.
LENOVO, they make some wonderful working laptops. So, Dell makes some great. Yeah. Okay. I mean, any monitor will work.
We should think about when the new buildings here, what we have to do for.
I'm already thinking about that. Yeah, so if you could take a look at that, John, and maybe next meeting, let us know.
Yeah.
Awesome. I move that we table 9.4 to give our utility clerk time to search grants and available computers to upgrade all computers.
And you say.
Okay, Jeff.
Consideration and discussion, action on where to post the town board monthly meetings video recordings.
Yeah, I think this is the last one. So we went ahead and we got the camera. The last meeting, we had a little issue with the sound that we got figured out, and so now we're going to start recording our own meetings. I didn't know what you guys would think about where to post them. Our official Facebook town hall page would be a great place. I know a lot of churches and things post a lot of their events there. I don't know if we want to go a live stream yet, but if nothing else, we can post it there within a couple days. People can just go to our town hall page and watch it.
I think the town hall.
Is there like a statute or anything of like any requirements for we're supposed to, or is that just extra?
I think the town hall page would be a good place to start.
And then I would also love to get an external hard drive so that I can store them. And then maybe even get a couple USB drives, and that way people come and request them, we can just charge them $5 for the drive, no money for the recording, and then they can just log out with it on their computer. If they don't want to go online or anywhere else.
On Facebook, I do I have access to post on the website.
One thing to watch for is whoever creates, I mean, you can do a town page, somebody creates it. And then somebody, I think we can, my school, I think you have to have email address, another email address, and somebody who's the administrator.
Which should be our town of Tryon email.
Right, yeah, I would think so. And then, but if that person, you just gotta make sure you have transition, if something moves on or changes, and somebody else has that phone.
I do know that our website only needs to like the briefings to read that. I don't know if I know all that.
I need to look at that. And I love to talk about meetings on the website, I just don't think our website is ready for that yet. Are you familiar with like CSS and HTML? Awesome.
There you go.
Yep. So then
consideration, discussion, action, setting up a GoFundMe account for the town fire department, as well as Joyce Brown setting up public donations for town needs. This was not me, no one.
This was John. I kind of wanted to, put the white certificate.
I just wanted to know, Stefan, if there was a legality there about
But there's not, you could do a GoFundMe to help raise funds.
We're still on.
Tax stuff, you know. Somebody wants to give you money, they give money. But we're not, you're not a.
I just didn't know if there was, you know, we needed to keep, I don't, better record if it was on there than just people coming in and wanting to.
I don't think a GoFundMe is, there's something up, I just know there are always issues with.
Yeah.
You set that up, they keep a certain percentage or whatever.
They do.
And so sometimes, I know there's more than one way of doing it, some of them are better user friendly than others for that, but the GoFundMe is, I did never have a problem with, you know, other than that's not the issue, you can do it.
Yeah.
Is there any information that we can get so that we can like read over and make sure that like, that we're following the rule? Like,
I mean, and I just put GoFundMe me on there because that's the only one I know, so.
I mean, there are some other ones.
Also, use just the basic cash there.
Right. But, so to answer your question, Rick, I don't know, honestly, I don't know if there's any specific, I can look and see, but I don't really think there is. I just think.
We just wanna make sure that we're following those laws, we're
Right.
not, like if we need to document anything, if it has to be documented in a certain way.
Yeah, you have to keep track of it, know where it is, and if there's an account set up for the fire department, that's what it's for, somebody's giving it to the fire department, that's great, but then it's not being used on whatever, you know, something else, so it's whatever your, probably your accounts or whatever, yeah.
How does a GoFundMe work? When you set up an account, you have to be specific as this is going like a Kickstarter or this is going for this specifically?
Well, when I set it up, yeah, you pretty much have to be pretty specific on it, but it's, yeah, there's a profile that you fill out, tell why you're asking for it, why you need it.
So if you put a goal of $500, say, and you don't make that goal, do you still get the money that was donated?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah. That's their,
Yeah. And if you don't make your goal, I think the percentage is a little higher.
Okay. Yeah, because my only experience is Kickstarter, where if they don't make their goals, then nobody gets anything.
So, no.
Okay.
Only thing it ain't with those is if they deem that you violated the rules, they just pull the money and send it back to them.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So that's the only protection. So if you say, oh, you need it for the fire department, all of a sudden you throw in a $4th of July bash, all that money gets yanked from your share to the billing department.
Right. So yeah, we have to be very transparent with
Yeah, we have.
White,
Where this started was communication between John and myself in regards to this massive utility or water leak we had a week or so ago. The visit with John said, this young man came out there and was working, and he was running around like a chicken with his head cut off because he didn't know where meters were, or not meters, shut-off valves, water lines were. He's new at the job, and he's trying to learn it, and he's done piling big time with this incident. And I communicated with John, talking to him, and said, we gotta find a better way to take care of this. This is just ridiculous. And I had two other ideas to go by. One of them kind of led into him talking about this GoFundMe account. I don't know anything about those. No one knows anything about them. But I said, I think if the city council would talk to the public and ask them nicely, hey, we need some help. We need to do this, we need to do that. I think the community will step up and help you. And y'all have come a long ways in rectifying a lot of things that have taken place in the last several years. I congratulate you on that. You still got a long ways to go. One of the ideas I had, raise the money, if you tell us what you want to do, what you're trying to do, I think people will help you. Now, this little incident we had here while ago in the previous hour or two about utility water meters, people getting this and that, one thing and another, they're kind of together that you're gonna resolve that issue pretty quick. But that goes a long ways with people I sitting out here in the audience, what y'all are trying to do. If you're showing yourselves that you're trying to do something, I think we out here will try to do something to help you get that done. And in reference to this young man, what I had kind of recommended was buying him a line detector for finding his water lines. Well, after doing some research and talking to different people, I don't think that's the answer. The reason there being, finding your water lines will only work if you have a locator wire on there. So we all know that's not gonna happen. So the next thing is maybe a leak detector. So I did just a little research on that. What's the sky's the limit on those things? I kind of looked at, there's somewhere around $2,000, maybe less, a bit more, acoustic type where you can actually hear what's happening in the ground. I don't know how that all works. There's a headset, there's some type of device, and they can hear that water gushing. That would go a long ways finding your problem. We wasted 4 or 5 days.
5 days.
5 days, that water floating out there in my pastures. And not knowing what's happening, everybody's driving about low water pressure. We've got to get this resolved faster. And that would help the young man tremendously. And also talk to Jimmy. There's things that you can buy. You can even make delineator posts. I don't know if you all know what those are. Alongside the highway, like those white marker signs, you see those white, that's a delineator. It's there for a purpose, like warning or something. You're focusing a lot. You can buy those in a blue. You can mark where your water valves are, where your water lines are going through people's pastures, and put them in the fence row. People like me aren't gonna care if you got one in the fence row showing that, hey, there's probably a water line come through. Gas companies got them all over the place. They're yellow.
Yeah, because I need to.
And a separate solution is go buy some cheap T-posts. You can buy a 5-foot T-post for $4. Paint the thing blue. Write it in the ground where your shut-off valves are. He probably figured out where they are now since he's been running around making sure his head comes. But 2 years from now, next week from now, if he goes somewhere else and the new guys come in, he's gonna start all over again.
Because if he leaves for 2 weeks, we don't remodel this.
Well, I do too. That's my second point. But if you mark these places where you can go find them, you're not spinning your wheels out.
Yeah, because we were out there for hours
Yeah, they were.
trying to find.
Three of those fundings through the
You did mark that line, how about you got mysterious line that no one knows where it goes?
Yeah.
It's marked now.
Where does it go?
You know where it's at?
I know where it's at.
So what do you think, you're at, you would be the best way to go? Just to ask for donations or do some kind of a fundraiser? Which do you think?
Combinations there, I don't know. I'm willing to talk to some people and say, hey, they need to buy with a leak detector. So this or that, whatever the case may be. And help get you some donations, get this done. Or say, if you want to make a donation, send it to the town hall. And tell them you want this to go through, well, I think John just mentioned about your GoFundMe account. You can distinguish what is going to fire department, utility department, sewer. As long as you track where it's going and how much you collected and what you're spending it on, I think the public will help you. That's my opinion. My wife doesn't think so, because of the experience that we've had with previous councils and stuff. But y'all have gone a long ways to go and rectify a lot of issues. So, that's my take.
I'm good with this water now. That's all right.
But you can't work 7 days a week, 8 hours, 10 hours a day.
Unless you're Jim.
Thank you. Well, thank you.
Thank you. And the reason I brought up the GoFundMe is because it wouldn't be managed by us. Right. It would be managed by somebody else, and there's a lot of mistrust. And I just thought that was a better way to go.
But just in the last couple of years, just from what I've seen, because we've done like the Thanksgiving dinners and a lot of people always came around with whatever. They've had no problem with
Do you think
when you get it done and you get that thing bought, tell the people.
Yeah.
Oh, we got our money, we got one of these things bought, they've got
Make a
this or
big
that, or we
deal
got
about
that,
it.
or whatever the
Y'all
case may
know,
be.
I'll have the town fixed.
I'm not just talking necessarily for utilities, but.
And you'll be able to go on GoFundMe. I'll set it up where anybody can see how much.
I don't know about the GoFundMe though. GoFundMe keeps some of that money.
They do keep some, most of them, most of
I
those
think I
sites
would
do
work
keep
out
some.
something because we need money so bad, we should work
We
out
don't need to
something.
be paying
that-
somebody
No.
to make a donation to the town.
Yeah, I'll look into a bunch of options.
Can you also look to see if like Payne County Bank, I know some banks will do that, they'll, you
Yeah.
know, go to this bank and lend money and.
Yeah.
Because that's something to look into.
Like, we were kind of on the path with the markers, I bought them some of the orange driveway rod, fiberglass rods, to put where these mysterious missing meter covers
Well, I
and
think,
things that have
I
disappeared.
think you got something a little taller, a little more permanent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was just a starting
Yeah.
idea to run with it, to see if it would work, and keep where we could find them when we're out chasing.
People like me more than I would just mow those things down.
It's gonna be built in, I've been waiting to make sure that it is.
Anything more about the, GoFundMe or surrounding it? I move that we table this until our next regular meeting and give our utility crew a chance to figure out what we can do as far as bank accounts or GoFundMe or what the best option would be to take donations.
James, yes.
Nathan, yeah.
Richard,
But you guys are putting it for us, too. Yeah, we just have to get information, and so there's still find out.
9.7, consideration, discussion, action on mileage policy change.
We need to, with the, effective, January 1st, the mileage amount changed, so it changes, we need to, at the next meeting, when you're talking about doing the, public hearing, we need to also add that ordinance into, onto that public hearing to adjust for the major mileages, and even reword,
We're gonna make it so it's like the federal rate.
Yeah, yeah.
Does it specify a rate?
It's
Not-
70 cents per mile.
It's not, so does their ordinance not just say
It says.
reimbursed at the government, right?
So we need to add that.
So one of the things I'm gonna ask if we can come up with an actual mileage report.
That was something we got.
Instead of just, you know, hey, I know this is 13 miles, so I'll just, you know, take that.
How do you want the mileage report?
Beginning and ending of hours.
So just the mileage one? Yep, okay, right down there,
Just, you know, here's the purpose of the trip, here's the,
And, before the board wanted us to take the calls at every single day, I took this kind of police whole trip to go every single day, so there's no many details that we need to figure out. It's a huge deposit to go that day, but if we have 1 or 2 checks, do you guys want us to go every other day, or like how do you want us to do it?
do we take cash?
No.
Do we have any kind of a lockbox to keep people's checks in? If
We have the big bags that lock.
Okay, but nothing like a safe to keep it in the building?
Actually, I can walk in and the police department lock.
I'd be okay with that if it's in a locked bag, in a locked cabinet.
So, and we'll also make no cash policy.
I think if you look it up, state law states that it has to be deposited every day. They'll waive that for towns like ours that don't have a bank. But I don't believe we can put it in the ordinance. Because our ordinance can't override the state.
Right.
Right. We can just be more specific.
Right.
No action. 9.8, consideration, discussion, action on employee handbook policy and procedures.
I just put this on here, just to let you guys know session, if there's more than 2 employees, we can just schedule on Thursday or whatever works.
So I'd like to designate it, but if it's, that way we don't have to keep waiting every month to do it. We can work on it and finalize and then bring final copies to everybody to look at.
And we can even split it up to different sections and how each person can go in it, so we can cover it all. Maybe that might help a little faster or whatnot. And I can also look up other towns and see if there's anything online. Just shoot it out to you guys to do.
I know I still have a handbook from working with that international corporation, but, you know.
I'm pretty sure I could email it to you guys, like ours, email it to you, or, you can contact me, but it's causing other issues.
So I would like to get a committee, I guess, to do it, to do all of it. So who should, besides the employees, who should be on the board to do it?
What?
I mean, but if you guys want to do it, yeah. Well, you have before the 12th.
It seems like he's
I can
on
help on
24.
Wednesdays and Thursdays if I know ahead of time.
If you want to be on it, so because I've got all the technology stuff to look into. And then like, whatever you guys want to do, like once a week, once every other week. Then I move to form a committee consisting of Mr. Meyer and Mr. Mueller and our town employees to revamp the employee handbooks, policies, and procedures.
Sandy, yes.
James, yes.
Richard, yes. .9, consideration, discussion, action on building project. All the email you sent us this afternoon.
Yes. The updates on, just gonna go over everything, it's not really, but, just so everybody's on the same page. Corey's asked about, I've already, after our last meeting, I've gone our invoices stuff, done our paperwork with it, and I've already submitted it. How they, do the payments is that we will submit, there's like 3 papers that we have to add on to our invoice. Send that into Reed, they process it, we write the checks on, Fridays and send them out to have the invoices paid. Corey still has not got his, I've contacted, this is a documentation for that conversation. I've contacted Reed, both David and Pat, and asked them, because that was 2 weeks ago. That was actually on July 15th, I believe. I have not got anything back from them, but I did. If I don't have, my people tomorrow, I will just call them, as a replacement, figure out what's going on with you. They're all response, and that's kind of what's, one of the things that's been really the other thing is the water, I've called 5 or 6 different board companies. I got a number from Tryon County, for a board company called for the road I've already. Yes, that's what, with some help that we have. I'm gonna put that on hold, finding a board company, because I didn't realize that the spigot that was in the park was hooked to the meter that was for that house. We've looked for the meter before, but we couldn't find it. We had Ira come over and try to find it and couldn't locate it. So there's somebody else that said that he would help us walk over there and try to find it as closer to the road, like in the ditch area. So I'm gonna put the board companies on hold right now, until we're gonna go out tomorrow and look by the ditch and see if we can find it.
I haven't paid attention, is the fence still there?
Yes, they have not, it needs to be addressed.
It's inside the fence,
Okay,
about 1.5 feet, and close to the park.
okay.
Because we had to go through the gate to read it, and they had those 2 dogs that had to be chained up before we went to read it.
Okay, so we'll look at that tomorrow if we can find that background.
Don't have to see, like,
It's us. But I do have to get a little crop out. Yeah, and then we can just double check, maybe we'll have Acker double check the insurance. So if I'm saying it's not myself, or whatever. Yeah, so we thought, great, well, we don't have to, hold on. And then, as soon as we get a new sign on, they will have to put their plumbing up to it, pressure will rise to the plumbing, and then we'll get started. So the flooring is what's the biggest part, so it's holding us up. I sent you guys out an email earlier, just as some of the information of what's passed at the walk around or whatever. It was like the village meeting. No, I didn't think
It
that.
said it was dated, August 1st.
Yeah, it was dated August 1st, but I forwarded it to you guys. Okay. But I printed out. He just said that the R factor of the installation, the person that was asking last time, he did apologize for the delay. He said the R factor of the installation that Mr. Meyer asked about, if someone just closed the cell phone with an R factor of R50, he said that's more than we required. The estimated cost to extend the center wall to this room is $4,000. Estimated cost to deck the entire attic with 4x8 OSB plywood is $1,650. The current radius in the storage closet has been continuing. The attached is the email from the person who provided the plumbing layout, which I didn't print out the layout, but I forwarded it to you guys, I don't have the layout. It says the pay window, one of the board members had an idea. He couldn't remember what Jim, was it you that was talking to? He said, could you send me the picture you have for an example of what that we might want? So this is
So basically, it's just a ledge replacing that sort of thing. I don't know, it's in the rooms.
It wasn't from your personal, okay, I'll double check. No, I'll find it, I'll send it to you. Okay. So it's a text message? Okay, I'll check. The kitchen roll-up window, he said an 8x8 steel roll-up is $2,500 to $3,000. Or B, he said we could frame an open window with a countertop similar to the attached for $200. I would only charge you for the countertop cost. And then he said,
Yeah.
I think
they're hiding money. That Brandon did go for the metal.
You did send an attachment with that, they have some drawings of where like the toilet and stuff would be located. It's not on here. I can't, get back in.
I got it on my,
I'll, I can like document that to the picture of this green.
They're always good on that building. I like the green.
Closets, toilets, and then us changing the building that floor.
I thought she was here.
Yeah, great. I was just holding up the line now. So I just found out today about that one. He also said that it would cost $1,400 to add the electrical for the Amazon box. He said the light was off, that was something that we're still
There was supposed to be two different ones. The first one was to get it started, and then a second grant was kicking in. Something.
They have to have a special.
I thought they had to have all the information when they even let you through.
Because I also read an email, I can't, and I also read an email.
Then again, our friend maybe has ghosted us. Who knows? Open my ring.
It's not, let me double check, I'll see if I got more. And I heard somewhere that there's, he didn't get a report with it. He just said it's more than
I do too, the same in the high low water.
Yeah, the high-low water fountain test. So, I know that he didn't send a change form or paperwork over the other one, but he's saying that it's like, I don't know exactly what he's considering.
4, 5 inches high.
I think so, that's all I said, we didn't have details.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was supposed to be done before you got. I get so confusing now. Well, she knew a big deal about it.
The sewer going which direction?
The sewer should more or less connect right on the other side, too, there's a manhole.
Because the diagram they gave us last month in the sewer direction.
Yeah, I know there's a manhole just a few feet.
There's a manhole where the swimming pool used to be, he drained the swimming pool into it. And straight north of where the building is, there's a manhole there. And east of the building, I think it's 350 feet is what's required by law. 350 feet on the north side of the highway. And it's on a riser.
Yeah, it's actually, it's, straight west of the building. It's, when you're going into the driveway to the park, as it's going on the tree, right there by the tree.
That one at the old swimming pool, that son of a gun's 18 feet deep. It's
I had a
a deep
swimming pool.
mother.
That helps with
Item number 10.
I didn't know
Business.
that.
No action or?
I'd say
New business?
which one? That one.
I gotta get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Get your butt down there.
Okay, that is.
What are you doing at 3 o'clock in the morning, Dick?
I know.
That's it.
But I've been
What I do.
the water supposed to be done. And there's still a few things that, I can think of John, decided to.
Do we have to mark the water line that's on the west side that runs along Oklahoma, or they go the whole way?
I don't know, they said it locates wherever that locate, that they were supposed to locate.
Yeah, the reason I asked is marked it across from Pecan to the west side. And going south, there's a small hydrant, which hydrant's about 40 feet south. And then that line runs straight north to the two houses, they marked the houses.
We're just on the locate, I'm right off on the maps.
I just don't want to, there's another pipe.
Jimmy.
Keep in mind, one of the things I learned a couple weeks ago in our class is that new business will only legally be anything that could not be foreseen to be on the agenda within 24 hours.
Richard, there's a 2-inch water line that runs through my property and goes straight north, serving the houses up there on the east side of Oklahoma Street.
But then it comes down Pecan, service those two new houses on the west side of Oklahoma.
There's one that runs straight on north, straight on through.
It
That
used to
one-
go to
It's
Mr.
been there,
Hinkle's
been there
house.
40-something years.
I understand that. What I'm saying is that when it comes west for those other two houses,
Yeah.
we need to mark that one spot, that's all.
Oh, okay. And
I know
that-
the other one's there, it's in the utility room, right away. Any other new business?
It's the one that went to that direction's shop. They're on down.
Name second.
Sandy, yes. Richard, yes.
And they hold that.
48,
Hinkle's
yeah.
house.
There's actually three. Actually, that one was placed there. It's not a wet change. That's new basing at the end, and big TV. Board of Trustees usually regular meeting, August 5th, 2025. It's now 8:50. First Baptist Church, 123 North First Street, Tryon, Oklahoma. We have a call to order. Roll call.
Sandy here.
Mike here. Jenny here. James here. Richard here. Consideration and action on consent agenda. Approval of minutes of July 1st, 2025.
Yeah, let's do one for us.
I move we wait to approve the minutes from the last litigation until the next regular meeting.
I'll second. Approval monthly department head report.
Yeah, so that's Brandon's, it's the first one, and I kind of came up with the format. If you guys don't like the format, just let me know. I'll change it.
I like the different blocks of it. Because if we could just get all that unspecified instead of different center, just.
Oh, okay.
Maybe some bullet points on the completed and progress things.
I know there's not much on it, and I'm gonna work with it.
I think what I'd be looking for the most is just, North Oklahoma, we spent approximately 10 hours on it from starting on this day, ending on this day. You know, I really don't need to know that.
And I kind of did that, I just, probably the North Oklahoma. That would be there, but most probably.
And I think the in progress and opportunity, we don't really need the exposition, it's more, this is what I'm working on.
Okay.
That's just my opinion.
James second.
Yes.
Richard, yes. Approval monthly financial report.
Being on me.
So right towards the top, it has to be drafted and current bill without our bill.
I know that was $100, and that's only the first. I think that. That would pay for the milk, that would pay for all of it.
Yeah, and actually, switch over from me, Kimberly, like,
Didn't we? Yeah, we did.
email it, but I was,
Yeah, we did.
I was looking for it, email, I didn't know it came in.
The metal delivered from insulation.
As soon as I got it, I paid it back. And that's when it
Everything,
already come in.
all my stuff.
So it's essentially it's
Yeah, the royalties that we have.
for,
I think they're, mineral rights. Yeah.
is that really a piece of equipment called a ring slayer? That's awesome.
make a motion that we approve the monthly financial report for June 2025.
Sandy seconds.
Jenny, yes. Maybe, yes. Richard, yes. Approval of the claims.
The second one there, or the first one there, the actual vendor, Police Central.
Is, yeah. That's your company.
So the very first one though, you have a PO number that is 515. It looks like it was starting to use that line, but then it just has the headers
So
duplicated.
let me make sure you have the right deal. What is it, mine looking at? I don't have the right one.
Yeah.
That's the right one.
So then the very
So
first-
what, so are you looking at the,
PWA 25-515, date 6/9/2025, vendor, check number, amount, Madigan.
that is, yeah, right. Yeah, I just didn't bring down the right number.
So was that an actual?
That was a human error. Well, no, so what I do is that I put the PO number last. So that PO number isn't gonna match that check, so I'll go fix that. And there was the one that says double paid, voided, that was when I just got it, double paid, rural water and sewer for something they did. So they sent the check back, and I just need to void that check, right? So that's why I left it on there.
Okay.
So next month I'll show you. And 518, that was check it back.
No, I like seeing the void ones on there too.
That's what the page on, that even if it was on there before you put it on, you would still put that check on there.
Oh.
You can go back and document it
What-
later.
what the void?
Where it was voided, yeah. But just as long as it's voided.
I'm good.
I make a motion that we approve the monthly claims for June 2025.
Sandy seconds.
Jenny, yes.
Nathan, yes. Richard, yes. Consideration of items removed from consent agenda. Number 5, public appearances, petition, demonstrance, communications, and personal appearances. Mary Lee, you're on again.
Two things. The first one is could we get the cameras in City Hall working? Because somebody went into City Hall not very long ago and got in an employee's face and was yelling and screaming, and there were people there that witnessed it. But it would be better for the employee if that was on the recording of that camera that's supposed to be working.
Now, I asked about
It's
that.
correct.
Did you say it was just an software update?
Yeah, it was rebooting, but it's been corrected.
Right. I think that protecting the employee should be a priority. And whether it's a member of the public or one of the board members, it shouldn't happen at all.
So, you said there were blink cams. Are those sort of obvious, or those have a little bit of now,
There's an option of both, but nothing's obvious.
yes, you log into a site, you get to are you the only one who log in, or? We have one of the
Sounds
board
good, they
members?
talking about. I know.
Okay.
And my second thing is we really cannot hear you. What can we do to get a sound system? And I'm not saying what we can afford to and pay for. What can the town do? Because I don't think there's anybody out here that can hear.
So, if you guys don't mind, I can take this one. So, I've tried a couple different things. Right now, I was trying to pass through my laptop, and my laptop's having some issues, so it's not going. What I would love to do when we get our new town hall, and we get an actual, like, meeting regular place, I would love to get like a wired cheap PA system. I don't know what we to do for this space, because it's so small, the acoustics that you guys heard the last 2 meetings, I'm getting a lot of feedback on the things I'm trying. So I'm not done trying, but I don't have a good answer for you now, other than I'm still working on it, and I know that's a horrible answer to give.
I know.
When we get to town hall, I would like to get an actual system that's, you know, mounted on the wall and wired in, and something that isn't hodgepodge and pieced together.
I know we got a sound system, long story short, the DJ for my daughter's wedding canceled 3 days before the wedding. And we got a $280 PA system with a microphone that Bluetooths through the computer or a telephone. And it's amazing.
Can I reach out to you maybe next week or something and talk about it then? See
Yeah.
what we can do?
Yeah.
So, because my husband's also a telecom engineer, so if it connects to a telephone, I'm sure
Thing
we'll volunteer him to
probably
come
this
over.
kind of telephone.
So,
But yeah.
yeah, I mean, I would love to. Honestly, I'm trying, I know Nathan's trying something at first, and I've tried a couple things, and I'd love to get this problem fixed.
And the speaker is kind of big, but it has a stand that adjusts from about 2 feet tall up to 5 feet tall. And I also think there's a way to mount it on the wall.
Usually, yeah. Yeah, I would love to reach out to you next week to find out, see what's going on with that.
Yeah. I'll have JD bring it from the paper so it's at the house and we can look at it.
Okay.
We had talked about that with the last board about once the building's built, we have to upgrade a lot of things. Camera's one of it, the other one is the speakers and loudspeakers so people can hear us.
Yeah, because I remember sitting back there and like, how did they say it? What did they just say? So I remember.
So that's all I had to say. See, it wasn't bad.
Any other questions or comments on this part?
What is it, public time?
Yeah.
Well, Richard Smith would like to say a couple words. The people that sit on their chairs in the city hall, thank you guys. During those goddamn no water times, I know you caught hell from a lot of people, but I appreciate your work and time. And if you could have got a hold of somebody that had guts enough to get people to help you, it'd been nice. But I was tired of no water, but when we got it back, thanks.
Thank you.
You ready to go home, Pops? You ready to go home?
I'm ready. I gotta get up at 3 o'clock and I gotta leave at 5. I'm damn ready to go home.
Well, let's get you on.
Item number 6, proposal board of trustees, town of Tryon entering executive session, title 25, section 307, subsection 51, discussing employment, hiring, appointment, promotion, discipline, or resignation.
Bye, y'all.
Salary, public official, or employee. 6.1, employee check-in for John Fox.
Richard Smith.
6.1.2, employee check-in for Brandon Wright. 6.1.3, employee check-in for Justin Hudson. 6.1.4, utility helper position. 6.1.5, employee check-in for Brittany Quinty.
I make a motion, we enter into executive session.
James, second.
You're fine. You're fine.
James, second.
Consideration, discussion, and action on matters discussed in executive session.
I'll put it in the car probably.
Billing timeline for John Fox. Billing timeline and posted it with the water bill, so already knows what we're going to do.
James second.
Sandy, yes, but we might have to check in the code book to see if that's, if we could, you know, if it was an hourly or a salary.
I move that we look at this next month, that we have time to look at it.
I know.
And we can even, we might need to have a special meeting between now and then.
Change your second to table. Richard, yes. Employee check-in with Brandon Wright.
No action.
Justin Hudson was not here.
We actually got, I make a motion that we terminate Justin Hudson from clerk for the town of Tryon.
Next second.
Sandy, yes.
Richard, yes.
Just for the record, just due to failure to show up for work.
Utility helper position, post new interviews with new applications.
I move that we open up the application process and the advertising process for a utility helper position.
How long are we leaving this?
Well, we don't have a regular meeting till next month, so.
We're in a special.
Yeah, that's a special.
I mean, we can keep the ad out if people call, we can tell them that the position's been filled.
Sandy, seconds.
James, yes.
Richard, yes. Employee check-in with Brittany Poteet.
No action.
Miscellaneous, 9.1, consideration, discussion, action on offering tetanus and hepatitis shot for the utility operator.
And that's, I put that on there, and it's totally their decision to do it, but it's just, I guess, years ago, before Brittany started, they used to do that.
It's been a while back.
We actually wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Because of tetanus, because they get,
Rusty pipes and sewage.
So if he does, you know, we can't force him to, but if he wants, you know, offer it, and if he doesn't, yeah. And if he doesn't want it, we'll just how it happens with something else.
Yeah.
That probably should be put in something.
So I move that we allow utility operator to continue the MC vaccines and attendance vaccine, and if it is voluntarily declined to have a waiver signed by the employee.
Sandy, seconds.
James, yes.
Richard, yes. Consideration, discussion, action on setting up a GoFundMe account.
No action.
9.3, discussion, action, claims, environmental, invoice, and final payment.
You are up, Mr. Ward. Where do you want to start?
Yeah,
So-
that'd be good.
Put it on the agenda.
Well, the utility department, we was asked if
You want to give us a brief summary there, John?
So, I know that there were questions about the final bill, because there was kind of a lack of physical communication, in the emails. And I just thought maybe, I know some of you had met him before, but some of you haven't, so maybe he can explain, any questions you have about, he answered a lot of mine today. But any questions that you have about the bill, or what was done, or, that's why I had him come in.
And I'll look at that.
the quotes that you're looking for.
Be glad to answer your question, but you know, really,
I didn't do that, then that's not me not doing the job or following up with it at you guys, so I still should get the money. that
For doing a job
that I
you didn't
did
do?
work. Huh?
For doing a job you didn't do, you should think you should get paid for it?
Who stopped me from that? It wasn't me.
I mean, but you're saying you wanna go down, I mean, you wanted us to pay
I
for a
did the
job.
job, I did the job. I agreed to do some other jobs. But, and I have done everything except for that one.
Cause I had several
Yeah.
questions about your invoice, is, and I'm trying to locate the actual invoice that you.
If you wanna back up a little bit more to the very beginning, because I've been involved in the situation. Since the very beginning, I was asked by some of the last board members to step back and go, the utility department is having a conversation to just try to stay out of it as much as possible. During this time, Michael and Kim have been trying to get, we have 4 jobs that we need to get done. We're trying to find contractors that can get over here. We were getting quotes, but we weren't getting, like, the scheduling was an issue. And it was like a month or so. Well, Mr. Wood had stopped by during that time, during the conversation that Mike and Kim was having in the office. And after the conversation was over, Kelly had told us that he has all these people that can help us, like any jobs, and, you know, told us that he could do all these stuff. So, Mike asked me if it was okay if he go ahead and show him the areas that we need to work on. I said, yeah, he's here, you know, already, we're not getting close to anybody else. Work was kind of redundant, especially with all the gas projects, because the sewer was backing up in our yard. So Mike took him around, showed him, there was the issue down here at Calabasas, which is a big project. There was a manhole that was over on Oklahoma and Chestnut that was collapsing, and we needed that rebuilt. Then we needed a lift station, and we needed some, like a tree removal. So he went, looked at the jobs, came back, talked to Kim and Michael or whatever, said that he could send us some invoices. It took a few days, Kim kind of touched base back with him.
Proposals.
Yeah, proposals. So the proposals, I don't know exactly what they're looking at, but he sent 4 proposals in the email. One of them was a duplicate. One of them was for $5,500, a $2,500 one, and then I can't remember, I think $1,500 one, and then I can't remember the second.
Well, one was a duplicate of.
The 15.
And then even the title on the email that Kim had forwarded to all of the board members at the time was mislabeled as well as a duplicate. We have a documentation on the email, showing that Kim was trying to get that straightened out, fixed, a little more details on it or whatever, and we just wasn't getting anything back in reply. There's some confusion with emails, Kim finally got that corrected, but was still not getting anything back from him. Well, we ended up having a board meeting, getting the Calabasas thing approved, which was the invoice was that or the quote that he gave us was $5,500. And Kim had also told him in the office that we don't have a lot of money, so we would like do them in sections. So the first project was Calabasas because it was the worst, so prioritized it, gave him the go ahead to get it done. He started working on it. It was delayed a couple times because he had cut his hand or something happened. And then I believe before he actually had the Calabasas one done, he actually came over and finished or he had somebody finish the manhole at Chestnut and Oklahoma. So that one was fixed.
Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, go ahead.
The Calabasas one, is that, the lift station one?
No.
Is it
the
another one
That's
that's
first and second.
No, I mean, as far as the proposal.
I would have to, I just.
So that one was the one that he duplicated another one.
Okay, so that would be one.
If you look at the, if you look at the, before it, it says that.
Yep.
Where it's supposed to be, but then.
That's what, I was curious as to which one you're talking about, so.
So he was still working on that. He had his equipment here or whatever. He had even asked us if he could store some of his equipment here. So he finished the work on the manhole. The only thing I'm not for sure about is that the manhole's already paid for before we got back to the invoice with, that is in question today. So the job that was left was the lift station out of North Oklahoma. There's supposed to be 2 pumps and 2 sensors. there's only one pump working and one sensor working, and they're kind of cobbled off together, kind of. And the alarm system needs to be hooked back up to the system, and that's one thing that we had to look at. I believe that the tree may have been removed as well. I think it was from that project down there, it's like the tree roots or something down there, it was in tree. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been.
No, it's not. That's not the one that was.
That'd be the other trees removal.
So at least you know that I'm honest, because I could have said, yeah, that's it, but no, it's not. It's actually right over here. There's on this edge down, there's a shut off over there that we're gonna, where the trees and stuff have gotten into, I think, the US line over there. And so I was going to pull out a couple of trees, and then if I pulled the line into, then I was gonna fix the line where, but there's just some small trees that were, that Mike had been talking about, so I was just gonna pull them out when I was here.
So the trees with the polyvascular was taken care of.
Yeah,
Then
all
these
that-
trees here were not.
I think
All that was taken care of. That line, you know,
Yeah, that's fine.
that was full of roots and all that stuff, so.
I'm
I took them all
one of the
out.
new members here, so I'm just trying to get all the facts straight, so.
So, those were the 4 quotes that we got. The manhole has been done, the trees, from my understanding, have been done, and the polyvascular has been done. So Kim started, from my understanding, is the manhole one has been paid for. Kim has been asking for, itemized statement multiple times, like it went on for a month. Because we're getting phone calls and text messages with Kim and with Mike over like being paid. Well, we kept needing an itemized invoice of what exactly that we're paying for, kept asking multiple times. He kept telling us that he was sending his invoices through QuickBooks. We wasn't getting anything, or wasn't clear, anything wasn't there that they were requesting, it was just like back and forth. And I believe Kelly had ended up bringing an invoice just in, because we're having problems with paying one. So that's when he came to us, that invoice for $17,400, and Kim about had a heart attack, because that wasn't discussed. Yeah, that wasn't discussed, that wasn't approved. When she told Kelly that in the office, he said, well, that's how much it costs, and like more or less that we should be grateful because he's given us a cut, and like he could have charged us a lot more, and that he was giving us a deal.
So let's back up, because, she's saying that it wasn't approved.
Just the facts though,
No,
and not so much of the expose
No, yes.
of what he
No, that's
said.
what the conversation,
That's
that's what I
fine,
said, yes.
To make sure we're not, you know.
So let's back up. I mean, she's saying that it wasn't approved, but Mike called me and had me go out there, and he showed me the raw sewage running out on the ground. And he said, this is an emergency because we're going to be sent over for DEQ to get fixed. And so, and I had asked what, you know, where, you know, do you have the money to fix it, or where? He said, yeah, we have the money, it's an emergency, just go ahead and get it fixed. So it was approved by Mike as an emergency.
We told him that
And
the
so-
invoice
but
was
that-
approved, the invoice that he gave us, so that was approved. So
But the
when we
thing
got,
is, you know, and I went to do this with other towns as well. You know, everybody says, well, you know, it's your job to get it approved, but it's my job to do the work. It's Mike's job on an emergency at the time. It's Mike's job to get it approved. It's Mike's job to get the PO. It's Mike's job to get the emergency funds. But my job is when Mike calls me to do an emergency job, it's my job to come out and do the job and get it done.
So the
That's my job.
17,400, that was all just for the emergency job? Okay. A couple questions on the details. What is the delivery pickup charge?
The delivery pickup,
Yeah, there's a delivery pickup, quantity of 2 for $500 each,
for delivery to pick up of the equipment.
of the equipment you use for the job. And then what is the pickup per hour?
That's my pickup.
Your own personal truck?
My pickup that we pull our operators with, yeah, I mean,
So you're charging us for 11.5 hours to drive your truck?
back and forth for 5, 6, 7, 8 days, yeah, that's,
And what's the enclosed tool trailer?
that's a pretty self-explanatory, it's your, enclosed trailer that has all the tools required to do the job.
So if we have an enclosed tool trailer that we're paying rent on, then what are we needing to drive back and forth for 8 days in a row? If we're already storing tools here.
Because I don't leave my trailer sitting on your street, because if I do that, then, let's just say like, yeah, let's just say you don't have any law enforcement, which you did at the time. It's pretty easy for somebody to go up and steal a trailer that has every single day. And when you steal a trailer that has, $20,000 worth of tools in it.
So then you're charging us for the use of the trailer that you're taking back and forth every day? Okay.
And I charge you for man hours, and I charge you for tools that I use, charge you,
Sewer tap, how much does sewer tap cost you?
the sewer tap. It wasn't a sewer tap on this.
There wasn't?
Yeah, well,
You got $1,500 here for
$1,500 for a sewer tap.
line 3.
So, that's why I was like, I didn't know how much a sewer tap costs. I know it don't cost $1,500,
Well, the majority.
because I did sewer here for a while.
And I,
Well, and I don't know how long ago you've done them, but, the majority of the towns that have done them are.
and if, okay, so it was.
For a boot?
It's more for the digging, because most of them aren't just a couple of feet deep, most of them are 7 or 8 feet out. And so, at 7 or 8 feet, then requires one of two things, either you have to bench the hole, or you have to get a trench box. And you get a trench box, they're about 500 bucks a piece. And so, and then, if you, bench them, then, that requires a lot more digging and stuff to get, so, I have to charge, you said, well, $1,500, well, I have a truck and a, gooseneck trailer and a piece of equipment and a helper, and I'm paying fuel and insurance and everything like that, so all that adds up.
But if all that sits in the sewer tap, then why are you, I mean, would that be included under the skilled labor and the pickup and the trailer? The paying a person to help you dig the hole and the equipment to dig the hole and all of that, wouldn't that be listed as skilled labor?
Labor is not an operator.
Skilled labor would most definitely be a laborer that's, has the skill to operate the equipment, right?
How many people did I have out on the job?
I have no idea.
I had 5 people out there.
Okay, and that would be the 120 hours of man labor, right? For the skilled labor? And then why are we also paying for that labor in the sewer tap charge? It seems like there's a double bill there. I mean, I'm gonna go on your guys' voucher, because I'm not usually up there. I mean, clearly, my world is tech, but I never once got paid to drive my car at work. How much is it built?
Well, construction,
That's fine, this is not my world, so I'm just trying to get this.
what time they do it, it's pretty good and stuff like that.
So what the last board failed to do is when he sent the proposal, there was no itemized list of things that he was gonna use or equipment or proposals without having a list of what it's gonna take. It's just a total number. Yeah.
So,
I did the sewer one, is that one of these 4 proposals?
So I use the same thing that you gotta use, I use QuickBooks. QuickBooks allows you, on an estimate, you can itemize everything. But once I flip that to an invoice, it gives you a number on your end. It doesn't give you an itemized invoice. And I didn't know that at the time.
You should be able to print that line invoice off QuickBooks.
And,
It should just be a matter of exporting it out.
well, you,
You have to export it to Excel.
Yeah, you have to export it to a
Yeah.
spreadsheet.
Yeah.
but I didn't know that at the time. I had an itemized estimate
is the 17,000 one, is that one of these four proposals, or is that a separate job from these four?
It's one of those, but that's the one that we got a double one for the tree.
One of them, this was
Yeah.
for the sewer line?
Yeah.
Okay.
I question too, you have down, 200 feet of 8-inch PVC pipe. That job that you did down there is not 200 foot.
Is that 20 foot, or is that?
It was a little bit longer, but, a little bit longer than that, because, most of your blocks are 350.
From what point to what point did you go?
I went, from all the way up to the very corner, past the alley.
By the trailer? So you go from the trailer to the alley? To the
I
manhole?
went all the way up to the street, all the way up to the very corner.
That's a nice city.
Well, I see the trench is on the tree and all of that.
Yeah, that's what I
So
thought.
that to the manhole is where I see the trench.
And that's what I saw was the trench, from that trailer to the manhole is all I saw.
No, I went all the way up to the very corner and past the alley.
So
Because that, I had, right there in the alley, is
So
where I
how'd you
almost
go?
got my hand on.
How did you get across the street?
I went all the way up to the corner, to the asphalt right there.
Which way you want to be?
West side.
You're talking about First Street. So First Street to the alley, to the manhole, that's what I'm talking about. It's 131 feet. It would take a roller, and I roll it out.
Well, my question is, if you have 220 or 200 foot 8-inch pipe, is that in feet, that quantity, or is that in pipe? Is that like number of pipes or number of feet?
No, it's feet.
It's 8 foot long each section.
Each section is 14 feet.
Because I wasn't quite sure where you went. And I went from the corner, from First to the manhole was 134 feet. Because I took my roller that when I was a police officer, I learned access to it, that's why. So,
So these four proposals, the lift stations, did that one get completed? Okay,
That's the only one
that's not, okay.
And that one.
The main way.
So I want, you ask me a question, so please give me the opportunity to answer.
Well, I was just asking if it was done or not,
Okay.
that's pretty simple, yes or no?
So that, that lift station, there's one pump working in it, there's two pumps in it.
Right.
When we went over all that with Mike, we were gonna get everything in that panel functional, which was with the alarm and all that. But like we told him, we can hook all that stuff up, but we do not know why the other pump was not hooked. And so we can hook it all up and we can get it working in the panel. But if there's something wrong with the pump, then that's would be on you guys, because, and at that point, you would have to pump the manhole out and have somebody retrieve that pump and either figure out if the pump is bad or the motor is bad.
Right.
Once that's decided, I mean, then we obviously can fix it and put it back in. But, so, our job on that was really to get the panel back in working condition. And that's what we were gonna do. That's what I was gonna do last Monday. I had the electrician that was gonna come over here and do it, because I wanted to look at it. We were gonna show him to do it. And Brittany told me that, no, I couldn't.
because we had a question, I mean, that's why, because we're all, us three here, we're all on board.
So the Tryon mainway, the second one, did that one get done?
Yeah.
Okay. There's the sewer line, I'm assuming that was the one at the
Paul House.
warehouse, that was the Paul House one, so that one got done. What's the tree, was that the one that said you get done?
That's the one that's over there on the,
It still has to get done?
No, it's been,
Or did it get done?
I think it's been done.
Think so?
I mean, I don't know.
That and the.
Did you do it?
I didn't, but I think Mike did it before.
So we're not gonna get billed. Like,
Well,
So you
at the
actually got,
March meeting.
you actually got billed prices.
$1,500.
You got paid, you got billed the 17,000 for that, that's what you got billed for.
Well, I mean,
But
I'm
then-
talking about the tree removal,
but
that
then
one
there
invoice
was
was
some
$1,500.
But then there was some confusion, there was a lot of confusion in it. And so I agreed at that time to do the other projects at no extra cost, basically, because of the confusion on that. And then, that was Stefan's first meeting here, I believe.
It was March 4th, I believe.
And so anyway, like I said there, that Kimberly was asking, you know, do you guys have the money to pay for this? And she's like, well, yeah, but it would put us in a real bind. And so at that point, I was like, well, with everything that's happened, I don't want to put the city in a bind. So, you know, we can just work out a payment plan. And then,
I thought at that meeting you said that you'd do all four of them for that price.
that's not what I just said.
No, you said we're gonna pay a plan, you didn't say to do all of the jobs for the 17,000.
That's what he
That's not
said.
what I just said. I just said, I charged you for that one, and I was gonna do the rest of it.
Do the other jobs.
For that.
But he's still saying that one was done for that price, but he doesn't take payments on that one, so he would do the others, no.
So how much do you pay? We still owe?
3,900.
My calculations show 35.
And the only thing, right now, the last job is the pump station.
And then we went down, we even went down to the lagoon because, I looked at that because you guys had Ace Electric or something come in and said that you needed all that change before you change it before you, that it's gonna cost you $1,000, you already got 240 there, everything there, it runs on 240, so why change it? You know, if your aerators down there, I mean, they don't work, it'll cost you 20,000 to replace them. We could probably get it rebuilt for $5,000 or $6,000 a piece. You know, I mean, I don't know what you guys know, or I don't know what's been relayed to you.
No, we don't, I mean, like I said, we were told there's some jobs wasn't done yet, and this and that, so that's why we're like.
That's why we're having
we
a
need
bunch
to
of
talk.
questions.
We need to talk to them, find out what's
Like
going
I,
on.
you know, I have acrobats and stuff, and I was, you know, I mainly deal with towns of less than 2,000 people. And, you know, every one of them are in the same boat. Nobody has any money, everybody relies on grants, you know, so I try to do stuff as reasonable as I can, you know. So I look for ways to make it where you get money. And, you know, the only way that really you can get money is if you only charge the water, then that water system needs to be as efficient as possible. And leaks aren't efficient. You know, and everybody's, you know, and I'm just saying this because, you know, people, I mean, I don't know what business you got, business background you have or not, but the thing is, you know, people say, well, we don't have $1,000 to fix a leak. But you make your well run 24 hours a day, it cuts down your life of your well by 80%, and you have $50,000 to put in a new well, but you don't have $1,500 to fix a leak. It's, you know,
Since, I'm not trying to get you up, but I have one question. So, we got sent an invoice, and it does say invoice for $2,500.
like I told you today, that was one that we had.
That the payment plan?
It was all sent together, and I couldn't back it, after it was sent, I couldn't back it out.
Okay, gotcha.
So I told you that today.
Okay, well, and I didn't look to see if there was even a check for that, so I was just asking. I didn't know if that was maybe part of the 17,000 that we paid you, but.
You guys have paid me for partially paid me for one job. And that was, that's the only job that I've done, that I've got paid for.
And you'll give me you'll give me something that says an invoice on the one that
Like I told you today, I'll get you anything that you ask me. Now, you told me today that Kimberly had tried to get an itemized invoice from me. And, you know, I looked back through my email, and you gave me the email that you sent it to me, and I don't have it. But, like I said, during that time, we were having all kinds of issues, but that's when I hand delivered some of these invoices, because I didn't.
See, and that's,
I didn't,
the only paper trail I had was the emails, and, so I like flying it, you know, I saw it, Kimberly sending emails out, but I didn't see anything coming back. So that's where I was like, I don't know what's going on here. I mean, I can't figure it out.
because just like Ricky said, I had a guy that sent it, but you guys wanted to see my players, and so I printed them off and brought them over.
So I guess the question is, the amount we owe now is 35, 39, whatever it is.
He's saying 3,400, he's saying, or 35, he's saying 39.
We can, I mean, I can look at it and see what
Look
the
at the
checks are.
POs and the checks and see what we
Yeah.
got. So, are you gonna finish the job down here?
I would finish it last week.
Well, we understand, but we put it, being a new board member, you get this here, and it's like, what the heck is going on? You know, what did the other board members, the last board do, you know? And that's what we're looking at. Okay.
You know, my goal on this whole thing, I mean, yeah, I want to get paid.
Yeah, we have no problem paying you.
But my goal is to develop relationships.
Yeah.
And I do that with every town that I deal with. I'm not here to take advantage of you or, you know, like that, if it was, I mean, I would have worked with you, I'd have said, no, take me home once. But my, you know, my goal is to develop a relationship to where you got detail for me, you're in a line, I mean, you know, Brandon, I mean, you may have a bigger water leak tomorrow. If you don't have anything to dig with, what's it to do? I mean, start digging with a shovel. I mean, that's fine, but, you know, if it's a huge water leak, not gonna get rid of it.
Well,
You have to find somebody.
We get told that invoice wasn't due, this is that, and we're looking at why it was invoiced. You know, someone's gonna, need to talk to someone about this, to find out where this money's coming from, because we owe it to the citizens, to find out where it's coming from.
And all we saw were, you know, four proposals for $1,900, and it was 17,000. I mean, if we didn't ask 100 questions about that, we wouldn't be responsible for our jobs.
Anybody else have anything? What's everyone doing?
You know, if you guys need me to sub that computer network, I'm all down. When it comes to this stuff, I'm out on my own. So, I'm, you know, the only thing that I want, you know, we gotta have,
Look at the correct amount, we see what we owe.
and we gotta have itemized
John,
invoices for
the
audit.
correct amount.
Yeah, yeah.
Make sure it matches his amount. Sure. I make a motion that we get paid. That way, at least we know, now we know where.
What about the work?
The remaining work, I mean, you're free to do the grant work if you want to do it.
I mean, the only thing I'll use, Mike never gave me an accommodation. We've got accommodation on that for a bid, I guess. I think that should sell it.
No, I think it's, I mean, Brandon will be able to let you.
Well, can Brandon be there with him when our water stuff without his temp license, or do you have?
I think this is the
Well, Brandon really doesn't even do street elementary, like all of his work.
It just
It's just a panel, it's just electrical.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can unlock it.
Go unlock.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and finish up that panel and then pay the 30 whatever,
I'll look that up.
and then everything will be washed. Is that?
You're good from that point.
That's it. I just wanna be.
Well, like I said, we just-
I wanna be available.
Yeah, we just had issues, I mean, we just had some questions that we had, because like, I said, most of us are all new board members,
And I'm new.
John's new,
Brandon's
you know,
And the
Brandon's.
questions they were asking me, I could
So
get with the information I had.
And that's why we asked you to be here.
I second the motion.
So is he gonna be rebuilding the aerators, is that what?
No.
No,
No.
it's just down by that sub, one down by,
Yeah, like,
that substation, that lift pump down by you guys.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's down by, it just south of there. Okay.
Motion, I
Yeah, I'm okay.
Sandy, yes.
Once I get that panel and everything moved up, then we'll know real quick whether there's something wrong with that.
There's two costs and two sensors.
Yeah.
One from everyone. I think they shut the on this shot as well as well.
We'll just use those lots of itemized invoices, so that way when we turn it into our auditors, then they're happy with that.
Okay.
Thank you for coming in.
Yep.
Now you can go home and take a nap.
Yeah. I mean, he came in, first day that, or, what was it? It was your kids' first day back to school or?
Yeah, well, their meet and greet was tonight.
Oh.
I had my mother-in-law go here. I had my mother-in-law go so that I could come over here.
Appreciate you coming over.
Okay, 9.4, consideration, discussion, action on regional water bill.
Brandon go.
Did we?
Anything else that's called for job?
Yeah, I think once we go, the ordinance, or whatever.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Or the water.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. But thank you.
I'd like to know what we're doing on my end.
Yeah, so I think you probably want to.
No, it's a surprise.
It's gonna be surprising, okay? I'm not paying anything until we finally decide what we're gonna do here. Take my time.
Well, you do.
No, I don't. Ordinance. It's all-
Residents of the city. It's just like I said, Richard, if I wanted to, I could take my house right here, the house next to me that someone else lives in, that I still own the property, and make them get a free bill, right? No?
Okay.
What you're saying is right.
Okay, is it two separate lots or one lot?
It's one lot.
For two houses, same
Yes.
time. You probably.
I own all of that. Is it right and legal? No.
Is it right and is it legal? I think that's the question we're trying to look at and actually meeting with the public hearing.
Because what you're saying is, I could build, move the trailer off, put a car wash there, and the town would have to pay for my bill because I own the lot.
I think we should just make a maximum amount that you take it up. Sewer, water, and garbage.
I think we should just do away with
Yeah.
free water for town council members, and be done with it that way.
I say we get rid of it and then we can just, going forward, not worry about any of the past stuff. That's never gonna be an argument that we're gonna actually solve. And just moving forward, my understanding. But I
We had
wanna
already talked about last
forward.
time that we're not gonna worry about the past year now.
Yeah.
Now, just moving forward from that meeting.
But they had to come in and do a
Service agreement,
service
and everything
agreement
else.
and everything else, because it's a separate meter. There's 2 meters on that property. Going to his son's house and to his house.
Right.
And you said it's in the ordinance and every house needs its own.
Yes, yeah, I know, just.
Do you know what the ordinance number is on that?
That's just freaking low.
But yeah, so. So for that, then we're tabling it till next meeting, public hearing and all of that, correct? Correct. And that we were going to forget the past due and just going forward for the water. That was my understanding.
bottom line is, it doesn't matter because now you're gonna pay your bill and your son's gonna pay his bill.
Well, we don't know that because we need to go through and have a public hearing, and then we need to look at the ordinances, and there is a state ordinance that says that we cannot change compensation for any elected official while they are in the middle of a term. The purpose of that was to make sure that board members can't come here and vote themselves to have raises in the middle of their terms.
It's also part of our child, get free water.
I know.
I could go to the DA's office, and ask the DA's office to look at it for, it doesn't.
I'm just trying to move forward for tonight.
I will, since you said go ahead.
That's fine. Remember, if we can't work together on this stuff, we're gonna fail as a board next time.
Well, we're all working together except one, because we're all in agreement.
Just, pointing fingers does not work together. But anyway, so are we good with 9.4? With what order the plan of action is for? 9.5, I will make these really, really quick. So I just wanted to review, this is something that I learned my time as a project manager. When you have a big catastrophic failure like we did, to review it, find out what went wrong and what can happen better. So my question on the trailer park leak, why did it take so, because from what it sounded, it was first reported in January, February, and then it was July before we had a chance to kind of get all hands on deck and get it going. So what caused that delay?
I don't know what caused the delay, because I didn't know about it until 2 or 3 weeks prior. Then Mayhem came in and talked to me about it, and then within, I would say about 7 or 8 days, Hobie came in. Greg Miller came in, and he works for the Tryon, which also deals with the trailer park maintenance or whatever, and told me, he's like, I'm not somebody stopped in, but, you know, there's a leak. And then a few days later after that, and within this amount of time, we're trying to do okey-dokey to get a contract lined up, see if Agri can help us, see if ORW can come down and help us or whatever. And I was keeping in touch with, told Hobie that, and with Renee Hadwood that that's Tryon. It was kind of delayed there for a little bit because her dad happened to pass away the day that we were trying to get things scheduled out. So we had to, I was still trying to get other contractors to come out, see if we could get it taken care of. And then there's just scheduling issues within that. But as soon as, I don't know the exact time, I think it's a pollution section with Victoria. But when he came in, that's when I knew that there was a leak in there. I'm not saying that the department didn't find out months ago, but that's when
I remember it was one of our first, either the first or second meeting in April or the very beginning of May. I remember Jeannie Wright stood up and made a comment about that there was a leak in the trailer park and that what are we gonna do about it? So I guess my question is, do we have a good way for people to report that stuff? Would that help solve the problem?
The only thing that I can see of now is coming into town hall and reporting it, not like actually into town hall.
As we work
But maybe
on
have like a slip or something, which we usually, when somebody usually reports something, that's when we use the report.
Because again, we're going to go through and revamp the website. Do we need something on the website to say report a leak, report a problem?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, maybe send an email, like, you know, because we don't go along.
Well, yeah, it would have to send it back. And do you think that would solve the problem of having to go 5 months before?
Yes, I think it would. I think that maybe if there was a little more efficient way to, for them to communicate with the office, I think that would help.
And then the North Oklahoma leak, we are all over that.
We're done with that.
Most of the times that I've seen it's just hot to a direct email for a specific individual.
It's either that or there's a form on the website that would you hit the submit button, it sends it as a form email to.
Right, it's just a canned form, but it goes specifically to a place.
Or places.
Individual.
Yep. All right, so I'm good with 9.6. Having no action.
9.7, discussion action getting a fixed utility vehicle, air conditioning fixed utility vehicle.
Is there something Brandon wanted to put?
I don't have the estimates.
Yeah, I only got one, so much. I need to take it to our resources.
No action on that.
Did you tell them we need 3 estimates?
Yeah.
Okay.
Consideration, discussion action on setting up way input policy procedures, setting up dental air hosting, address your billing Light finder or leak indicator.
Is that what we discussed with Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Is there action and use of police department to do the truck utility?
So before we skip on that, since it's on camera and everything, what are we allowed to do with that truck? Because I know there was a lot of public dissent about what we were doing with it. What are we allowed to do to use, what are we allowed to use that truck for?
At this point, with no police department, if the envelope are covered, you can use it for almost anything. But the question is, does the public want us to use it for anything?
So then we need to set that up for public hearing. Or public input, or, you know.
Public input. I mean,
Because it's a touchy subject.
Oh, absolutely.
but, I mean, if he looks at you guys, something that's out, and it's just sitting there, then, you know, use it, throw it away.
It's the only one that never can see he's driving around and independently whether it was.
I mean, that's, yeah, I mean, you can do that whole public input. Here it's own. So as long as you're not violating the law by,
So then
let it
we
look like
can,
it's a police officer here.
we can make a decision then tonight, what we wanna do with it.
Yeah, I think, if the board wants to sit and say, well, let's take it, that's up to your discretion too, but I think if it's an owned asset of the town, just sitting here.
It's a wasted asset.
It's a wasted asset, hey, you're not being irresponsible to use it.
But a lot of people care about it, so.
What is it? Basically, we're Okay. My suggestion was, since it's already been shared with the details, that we vote to basically decommission it as a police vehicle, but it's still as the emergency vehicle. So that we can get those, where we can activate the sirens. But we can also use it as a backup, because the other stuff's disabled. It's not stripped, but it's disabled, and as long as it's disabled, there shouldn't be an issue. The only thing that we need is to be able to trigger the siren.
If he hooked that back up, you, John?
I haven't.
It has to be an insured employee, is the only main thing. There can't be somebody that we just have helping, that's not listed as employee.
Jim, what's your opinion?
Like you said, so we don't, we do with the vehicle, what we do with the vehicle, we don't ask.
Right, that's what I'm saying, just.
Non-employee, driving, truck, whatever, or probably
Some people,
I don't know what you mean by emergency vehicle, I don't have an emergency management department.
being able to set off the.
Which that's the one good thing about that truck, you could automatically set the sirens off with it.
You all talk about not having the person in that position, just having kind of everything kind of initiated to do that.
Which that would mean whatever, whoever's got keys.
I don't have any.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but in, you know, if the alert needs to go out.
We need to get a couple.
Whoever's on hand can get in it and do whatever they gotta do.
But as far as using the truck, should we send out a, public statement saying, you know, that this is what we decided to use with the truck, so people aren't caught by surprise? You said there's people that care a lot about it, so that way you're not
I would
talking
think,
our.
please go, say that, say what they
And
got.
What should we like to let us do? If you're one of the people.
While we're on that subject for just a second, did you ever get any estimates from, Goddard for remotes?
No, he hasn't, he never responded.
Did you ask him?
I did send him an email, but it's been a long time.
Would it be better for somebody going out and doing, yeah, help them out there? Discussion, consideration, discussion, action on purchasing or renting equipment for digging.
So I have applied for a temporary license. You do this very backed up. At least it is numbered. She was supposed to let me know yesterday that I was too busy to call her, so I will call her tomorrow. to find out.
SR2, consideration discussion action taking utility garage door fixed. Was this Brandon's addition also?
No, that's kind of
Close
ours, yeah. We didn't get any, new updates.
Have we put out a request for bid or anything?
Not yet, we just called the companies up, down at LPN. No, and, two of them are companies that we just recently got, quotes from, we just asked them, kind of, I think, the quotes, because they were from when Michael was here, right before he left, and they just haven't come back with us.
Keep trying to get it.
Any new business?
Huh? Yeah, read number 12. Make a motion, we adjourn.
I second.
Shane, yes. Hey,
Richard, yes. Ed, yes.
Should I give the coffee cup?
Thank you.